everybody, to IBD Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. It's a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad. That's right, sure I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we'll get another fantastic one for you, as it's another edition of the BDA Morning Show. That's right, a good old morning show early in the morning. Get your cup of coffee as you're getting ready for the day. Listen to a little boxing talk as we break down everything that's going on in the boxing world. And there's a lot of machinations going on right now. A lot of comings and goings, a lot of movers and shakers crafting the boxing world. And let me tell you something, we're going to talk about all of that plus more. Before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so via the Super Chat feature. You can also join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. You can also donate via the Buy Me a Coffee app, link in the description. And you can join our Patreon for free. It only takes a couple of seconds to sign up, but it lets us know that you guys are there. And you can donate as much or as little as you want. The most important thing, though, is that you continue to like, subscribe, you spread that BDA gospel. All right? Spread it nice and wide. Let's give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about Amok, Never Sobers, aka Sobi. Shout out to SSC, one of the initiated. Nightmurph, one of the initiated. Sober says, I'm scanted out and ready to go. All right, that's good to hear, man. Scanted out. Fresh Prince, shout out to him. Team Batman Boxing, the Boxing Sicario, the Sergeant. Shout out to him. Many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I got to tell you, this Richardson Hitchins fight against Kambosos, I wasn't really looking forward to it that much, and I still think it's going to be a mismatch, because one of the things we're not talking about is, people are comparing Hitchins to Haney, style-wise. And though Hitchins hasn't proven himself like Haney has, because at least Haney has a couple of good wins, Hitchins is still the much taller guy. He's 5'10". So Kambosos already has a problem with reaching guys or cutting the ring off. Hold on a second. Yeah, so he already has a problem cutting the ring off and pressuring guys who move a lot. Hitchins is very fast too, by the way. The Lemos fight sort of indicates to a lot of people that he's slow, but he's actually pretty quick. And that's the thing, though. He beat Paro, who's kind of quick himself. Not fast, but quick. And Paro couldn't do anything with him because he just wasn't accustomed to pressuring guys. Now Kambosos is fighting a taller guy who's faster than him. I don't know if it ends well or not. However, Hitchins also is a pretty tall guy. Maybe making weight sort of exacerbates his problems. So you never know. And by the way, Kambosos did beat a good quick fighter years ago by the name of Mickey Bay. And it was a competitive fight, but he beat him. So you just never know. I mean, this ain't Maxi Hughes, who's a southpaw. This ain't Lomachenko, who's Lomachenko. Kambosos is fighting a guy in Hitchins who has had trouble in the past. I mean, Hitchins had trouble against Argenis Mendes during the pandemic. So we'll see if he's improved, and we'll see if he can do what he did, or what Lomachenko did to Kambosos, or at least what Haney did. So we shall see. See, we got Sobers here. Sobers, are you there?
What's up, idiot?
What's up, Sobers? Nice. Well, I was gonna say Sobers is up nice and early, but I don't know if you slept. So maybe you're just still awake.
I never sleep, bro.
There you go.
My real name is Never Sleepy.
Someone has to keep an eye on the community, and that's what Sobers does. Well, I gotta tell you, man, Hitchins is talking a lot, as expected, and I gotta wonder if he's gonna deliver, because the talking hasn't stopped. This is what he had to say. Oh, by the way, the Hitchins fight, the Kambosos Hitchins, is taking place this Saturday, June the 14th, in New York. The theater at Madison Square Garden. They call it the Hulu Theater now, which, as we spoke about in the last show, apparently hasn't even filled out. Nowhere near filled out. Apparently it's got a 5,000 people or person capacity. It's only at 1,000. That's what Kambosos said. It ain't selling well. Hitchins, nobody knows who he is. And this is an interesting fight because Kambosos is returning to the scene of his big upset over Teofimo Lopez back in 2001. So maybe that energizes him. and gives him a good chance. And Hitchins is making the first defense of his title that he won from Liam Paro. And right now, things are escalating, as we're going to get to see later on. But it's interesting because Kambosos is saying that this is a good... He's coming back home, he says. He calls his home New York. And it's got a good undercard. Andy Cruz versus Hinoriri Mishiro. It's an IBF eliminator. The winner takes on Murataya for the IBF title. So if people care about those type of things, that's what we get. There's also two undefeated guys fighting. Terramona, who's 7-0 with 7 knockouts, takes on Aleem Whitfield, who's also 9-0. That's an interesting fight right there. And this is all taking place via the Zone, Saturday, June the 13th. Excuse me, the 14th. This is interesting, Sobers, because check out what what's his name, Kambosos had to say recently. Hitchins said that he's going to Lomachenko him, and not only that, Hitchins said that he would have whipped Lomachenko. And Kambosos said he was saying that. He's saying that he would have whipped Lomachenko. How dare you say that? That's a legend of the sport.
Hitchins?
Yes. Yeah, Hitchins said that he would have whipped Lomachenko.
He couldn't even whip Limos, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I was gonna say in the last episode that I did, the morning show, I talked about how Hitchins is talking about him stopping Kambosos. He was mocking Kambosos for going down against Lomachenko. He said, "I've never been down from a body shot." What do you expect, Sobers? Do you expect Hitchins to actually deliver, or is he going to run around the ring despite all the jawing he's been doing?
Well, I mean, this is a pattern you see with these American fighters, right? They like to yip yap and jib jack like they're gonna buzz something, but when they get in the ring, they shake their ass and they move around and they try to stay away from as much engagement, as much prolonged engagements as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this guy Hitchins, it's really bothering me, his attitude, because he basically knows he got an easy fight. This guy is physically less imposing. He's not strong enough to get on the inside. He's not going to be able. I don't see Kambosos really bringing anything to this fight, right? And Hitchins kind of sees the same thing, and that's why he's getting all crazy like that. He's yelling at everybody, acting like he'll fight at the press conference, and he just really looks like a clown, right? Because he brought that money out saying bet me, and like he was trying to like put it in Kambosos' face, like, dude, this guy's made way more money in his career than you. He's probably getting paid more for this fight than you. So he just looks like an idiot, like he's trying to flex money. And there was even a point in the press conference where they were like, oh, you know, getting held back by the security guard, and Kambosos' dad just walks up to Hitchins' trainer and just punches him in the face. You know, and they don't do anything about it.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to analyze that press conference, because
So
that's actually...
I just thought,
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, just overall, dude, he's just acting like a fucking clown, dude. And it's like, you know, and it's just like, because you feel like you got an easy fight in front of you, so you're showing out, acting like you're gonna knock this dude out. But he's gonna come with the same style. He's gonna the Mickey Mouse, the Tom and Jerry style, like Turkey was saying, right?
By the way, that's sparked a lot of discussion. Those Turkey Al-Sheikh comments sparked a lot of discussion, to the point where some people we talked about this on the last episode that Bucho hosted, about some people on Twitter claiming that this is racial, that it's racial bias, which is funny because Turkey Al-Sheikh never mentioned race. He just mentioned no more Tom and Jerry type fights. And immediately a certain demographic on Twitter started saying, oh, this is against Afro-Anglo fighters. To the point where, when we're going to talk about this, people are saying that Turkey Al-Sheikh wants to murder Afro-Anglo men. That's where some people are taking it. With the hyperbole. So we're going to talk about that, but shout out to the Sicario Boxing, the Boxing Sicario, says BDA with the early morning podcast, ringside, Gold Coast Convention Center. Yeah, I have to remind people, Kambosos is Australian. He's a relatively big name in Australia, even though I think his numbers have been floundering ever since he's taken those losses. But yeah, this fight, surprisingly, not in Australia. It's in New York. So again, not in Australia. It's not taking place at
the Gold Coast Convention Center.
It's not taking place there. All right. So just people remember that it's the Zone, New York. But you know, so Hitchins talking a big game. I'm gonna do the. Your father is gonna have to stop the fight. Your father's gonna have to stop the fight. And look, Hitchins is a bigger guy. Kambosos is coming up to 140. Hitchins is 5'10" inches tall. Kambosos is, I think, 5'8". I think they got him listed as 5'8", but you look at him, he's more like 5'7". So Hitchins has all these advantages. He's faster, stronger, it would seem, taller. I'm gonna check out the reach because I don't know, but shouldn't he at least, like, if he doesn't do some damage, is he just gonna be another big mouth ass style fighter who talks a big game and doesn't deliver?
He already is that to me. He already is that to me. Especially like if you can have that kind of confidence, dude, and put up the kind of performance you did against someone like Lemos. You know, and I don't want to shit on him or nothing because he has a good performance, but that's someone that you were physically overmatched. You know what I mean? You were overmatched in him physically in almost every way, and this dude was almost knocked you the fuck out. So no, I don't think that guy's that good, and it's easy pickings. Cambosos is he's well past it, and yeah, I don't know how he keeps getting these fights. I really don't.
Yeah, neither do I, man. Some people were saying or speculating that he might have something on he might have something on Eddie Hearn or these promoters or the zone because they keep giving him opportunity after opportunity. But it's interesting that about the Hitchens thing. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, about like that, there's the winners. They make a lot of money, but so do reliable losers, right? Because the sport needs them. They need guys to get trained around on them by the whole stable. Someone like Sean Porter. And look, you heard recently. I heard last night that Boots might be going up to 154. So guess who I see him fight at 154? Madrimov. They'll make him the little hoe. They'll pass him around by everybody.
The little hoe.
And they do the same thing with Cambosos.
Yeah, but you know what? That sounds like one of those. Be careful what you wish for, or cherry picks gone wrong. Because I don't even know if Jaron Ennis gets past Madrimov. Well, what Virgil Ortiz did to Madrimov, backing him up, that was a dangerous thing. And I don't know if Boots Ennis can do that. I think Boots would try to box him from the outside, and that actually would give Madrimov a good chance to land those overhand shots of his. That wouldn't be an easy fight. That would be something. Yeah, watch out for that one. If they think that's a cherry pick, they should be worried a little bit. Kambosos, they have him listed as 5'9.5". I don't even know if he's that tall. He doesn't look that tall, but we'll see. 5'9.5", 68-inch reach. Hitchins is listed as 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. So that should favor him at keeping Kambosos away. But yeah, so Hitchins is doing a lot of jawing, talking about how he's going to do this, going to do that. And it's precise, this is sort of like an audition for Turki Al-Sheikh, because the Sheikh has already said that he wants to have a good undercard, not necessarily with big names, but with good names. And so Hitchens could throw his hat in the race for this one, but he's going to have to deliver. Because if he backs foot bitch, and we're going to talk about something you posted on the Discord later, about the ring size for some of these future Riyadh season fights. Very interesting developments if those rumors are true.
I predict these things.
What's that?
I said I predict these things, BDA.
You sure do, man. I gotta give you credit for that. I think the Scante you smoke, I think you're like the Scante shaman. You go to another dimension and you bring back. You go to another dimension where time and space coalesce, and I think you're able to see the future, the past, and maybe beyond that. So shout out to you, Sobers. Takes a different type of mind to be able to.
Damn, BDA, that was very accurate. Maybe you're a Scante warrior too.
Maybe I should start doing some Scante. Why not? Who am I kidding? I'm already doing Scante. I'm on Scante right now. But listen, the point is that this Hitchins versus Kambosos fight is starting to heat up because the press conference might just have proven to be more entertaining than the fight is going to be. Nevertheless, we do have to cover what transpired yesterday. Very entertaining, very interesting, very revelatory, I must say. So check out what happened. First of all, Lou DiBella is promoting Kambosos, I think. You got there on the left, you got DiBella, the guy who looks like a wigger who grew up too fast. And then you got on the right, you've got that dude that looks like a hooligan. That is Kambosos' father. So check out what they had to say about the ticket sales for this fight.
But there's no maybes. I'm doing.
Oh, hold on a second. I got to boost. That's the other thing. People were complaining that for these press conference, video on Matchroom Boxing was incredibly low. I don't know who's mixing this press conference lately. They're doing a bad job, let me tell you.
This is not fake stuff. I'm coming to this home in a familiar place where I'm 2-0 already. This is the trifecta. Like Lenny said, sorry, Lou. Like Lenny said, the talk is finished. We don't need to sit and talk. If the fight's sold or not, that's his problem. I'm coming here as the underdog. I'm coming to win this fight. You've seen it before. You've seen these eyes. Lou, you've seen these eyes. And I'm here to win this fight. Whatever it takes, by any means. There is no plan B.
I think there's a reason that ticket sales have picked up this week, and that I'm hoping it picks up even more and there's more interest.
All right, so there you have it. Lou DiBella claiming that ticket sales have picked up. Now, he didn't give a specific number because, like I said earlier, that number appears to be atrocious. But apparently this hijinks, the jawing, the back and forth between Kambosos and Hitchins is helping the fight somewhat. Then you have Hitchins' trainer. I don't even know who he is. I should look it up. But who looks like Derek Chisora, but thinner. He's there too. And I think that's even Hitchins' father, maybe? I don't know. But apparently they've been together for a while. Lou DiBella kept saying throughout the press conference, I've known Hitchins since he's a kid. I've known this guy since he's a kid. And then he goes at one point, I've known this guy since he's a child. So I don't know. I don't know if Hitchins is taking that as an emasculating thing, sort of like, in Goodfellas, like, this kid used to shine shoes. He was the best. He was the best. No more shines, Tommy. It's like, what? No more shines. Like he takes that the wrong way. So I don't know if Lou DiBella was trying to get under his skin. I was expecting him to call him boy. Hey, boy. You remember I known you since you was a child, boy? What you gonna do, boy? That's what I was expecting. But things started escalating here. This is Kambosos' father. Throwing some sly shots. Check this out.
It's done now.
Come back to you, George. I believe this fight's going to live up to all expectations. I really do. I mean, Richardson Hitchins is a hometown favourite, right? He's fighting in front of his own hometown. He's probably sick and tired of hearing about, stop running, fight, take the fight, bring it head on. And, obviously that's what...
So does that sound like... That's got to be a little bit of a dig, right? He's being passive-aggressive. Like, listen, he's a hometown fighter, so he's sort of upping him up a bit. But then he goes, he's probably tired of people... he's a hometown fighter. He's going to deliver because he's probably tired of people telling him he's a runner, he's a coward, he's got no balls. He's basically a bitch. Yeah. He's a hoe. He's got a gaping asshole. Oh, man.
Everybody wants to see a good fight, and George Kambosos, we all know, is a warrior. So I honestly believe, people that haven't got their tickets, go get your tickets because you're going to see something classic on.
Yeah. Kambosos' father is a terrifying guy, by the way. He looks like the type of guy who used to break bones for a living. But then check this out. I noticed something. 52-26. All right, hold on a second.
Very confident. First,
all right, check this out. So now Hitchins is going to talk, right? And I noticed something.
Deliver a statement on Saturday night.
First off, I just want to thank God, for being here for all this action.
First of all, Hitchins is the type of, when he was a kid, he's the type of guy that ruined it for the rest of us when it came to teachers having a no chewing gum policy. Because this guy's just chewing like he's a donkey eating hay. But I noticed that he's eating a lot of gum, so maybe he's trying to dry himself out too. That's what people do, is they chew gum, they spit in a cup to lose weight right before a fight or in the week leading up to a fight. But then I also remember that Kambosos, when they were going face-to-face a couple of days ago atop the Empire State Building, Kambosos all of a sudden was getting close and sort of recoiled suddenly and said, man, your breath smells like shit. That's what he told Hitchins. And I think Hitchins started, maybe somebody told him, yeah, man, you smell like shit. So that's why he's chewing the gum. I think multiple people have told him already. What do you think, Sobers? Isn't that a little bit too coincidental?
He probably has halitosis.
Yeah, maybe. And I've told people before, and I said that in the episode, if you got halitosis, your breath stinks, I think that's a stomach issue. So chewing gum, taking Listerine, brushing your teeth 5 times in a row, that's not going to really help because the odor is coming from the stomach. So just get your stomach checked out, eat right, stop drinking so much, maybe. That's also the problem. And you should be okay. But yeah, his breath probably does smell like shit. Now, here's something interesting. So Kambosos Sobers told Hitchins atop the Empire State Building the last time they went at it that He's not making money. I made more money than you, Camboso said. And Hitchins was there with the chain, with the ice, as the youngins like to say. And you can tell he's a type of guy who enjoys money, tries to flaunt it. So I think it got on. I remember I said this. I said, I think that got under Hitchins' skin. Because when they brought up the money and all that, his face sort of changed. And I think the Cambosos realized that. And so they continued that in this press conference. And then check this out. Cambosos, Hitchins then pulled out a purse. Well, he already had it. See that green thing there on his lap? At first, I thought that was maybe a fanny pack or something. I said, no, that's a purse.
I mean, that's typical today, right? That's I don't know. It's not even. That's pretty normal now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Having a purse, mink coats of what do they call it? The fur coat, pink fur coats, like Tank Davis wears. That's where the culture is at right now for some people, it seems. But then check this out.
I've been saying it since the face-off. I want to bet the 50,000. His dad said he got the bet. So hold up. He said, bring the money. The money's here. 50.
He looks so proud, by the way, that he was able to gather 50,000 together for that. But you see how hyped up he is? Like, he was all chewing gum. He looked like he was about to fall asleep. Then when the issue of money came along, oh, hey, I remember that little gimmick I got planned, pulling out money. What do you think, Sobers? Did he look a little bit too excited to pull out that green purse with the 50,000 in there?
Yeah, that's why I thought that was so stupid, because he's acting like he's doing something, but like the people on stage make more money than you. Your opponent makes more money than you. He's already made more money than you. You're still trying to get up there. Your ticket sales are like shit. So, I don't know. You're not trending in the right direction to have all that confidence and to be trying to wave that shit around.
Sobers told me the ticket sales are shit, just like Hitchins' breath. I said, come on. That's what he told me before we went on the air. I said, come on, Sobers.
Exactly.
No need to take it there. Shit audience, shit breath. All we need is a shit fight. And that's going to complete the shit trifecta. But so Hitchins pulls out a purse full of money. And the de-escalation is just heightened from there.
Money's here. Hold up.
Even his trainer looked a little surprised. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I got to hold your purse? He's like a husband who takes his spoiled wife out to a shopping spree. Now you got to hold her purse. You got to wait for her.
50. The money's here. Hold up. The money's right here. We got 50 cash. Can we shake on it again? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's shake on it. If you believe in yourself, you better get up and fucking
put your money on yourself.
Sobers, first of all, do you think Cambosos reacted that way because he already warned them, keep your shit breath away from my face?
Yeah, he was ready this time. He was like, you're not fucking getting it. You're not assaulting me this time with your breath.
Yeah, that's gotta be foul, man. Getting a guy who's got shit breath that close to you.
It's like a punch in the face.
Exactly, yeah. That is assault.
Money on yourself.
If you believe in yourself, you better get up and fucking
put your money on yourself, on your bet.
Scared of that, bro. It's boxing, bro. I ain't scared of that. I was been smacked.
Put your money on yourself, on your bet.
Put your money. Put your money like I've already done.
Bet the fucking money, you pussy. Bet the fucking money, you pussy.
George Cambosos has already put his money.
I already put my money on the bet.
Now, that Hitchins really sounded angry there. Like he's really trying to provoke him. But I think it's clear at this point that the money comments really got to him. What do you think, Sobers?
Well, yeah, I think so, because the American culture, that hip hop shit, they really try to push that, flexing money. There's a lot of guys who do that shit, so he wants to fit in.
Yeah, that's the way it seems like here. And then check this out.
Easy work.
Put your money on the side.
50,000. This guy, listen, this guy got all this talk to say. Like I said, if you believe.
Hold on. Yeah, so Hitchins just lays it on thick, like, if you really believe, bet the fact, which is something that happens too here on YouTube. You discuss a fight with people, which is, by the way, whether somebody makes a better argument or not, at the end of the day, you're speculating about the winner of a fight because we don't have crystal balls. Anything can happen in a boxing ring. Unexpected things happen. And so nobody's really right in a pre-fight debate. until the result happens. So I've had that happen with people where you actually end up making the better argument about why a guy's going to win. And then at the end they go, okay, let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. So it's almost like that. It's them trying to have the last word. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I couldn't break down the fight, but I'm so confident that I'm right that I'm going to, let's bet some money. Let's put some money in. It's like, that's not how you don't win it. And then on top of that, you're betting with people you don't know. Bunch of random people who are never going to pay you back. So this is all a waste of time. But that's where Hitchins is taking it. And then check this out.
See? Pussy ass. We're gonna see.
Put your money on the fucking bets.
No, I'm betting you, you pussy. I'm betting you. I'm trying to bet you, you pussy. Fucking bum. Fuck around and make it out this city. Fuck around.
That's a lot of, even then, see that? I don't know if people see it there. Apologies for any offensive language. The Zone put up that little disclaimer there. But it's true. I mean, it's a press conference. You got to sell the fight. But Hitchins is really getting out of hand there. Pussy, 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 pussy. I mean, what the fuck? Like from dusk till dawn. Cheech Marin from dusk till dawn.
Now he got shooters, BDA. Now he got people that'll take out Cambosos from.
Now, hold on a second.
You're taking such such a what? It's not my fault your manager didn't negotiate a deal.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I can't believe I skipped over that part. So, okay, because it goes on. Yeah, so again, like we keep saying, we think the money comments really got under Hitchins' skin. And then look at what Cambosos' father says.
All the stuff to say, let's bet the
all I know one thing about you. You've spent 6 weeks of a training camp thinking about 50K.
Okay.
And you know why?
Okay.
I think that's a good point, isn't it, Sobers? This guy spent a whole training camp thinking about 50K. Like, I'm going to bet him 50K. Man, 50K. I'm going to get him with that 50K thing.
Well, if he makes as much money as he acts like, that shouldn't be that much to him, right?
Exactly. Isn't that what Mayweather paid when he failed to make weight against Marquez?
I can throw a little 50K at it.
Yeah, well, money made. That was a real money made. Yeah, just 50K. Hitchins is acting like, man, I mortgaged the house. I pinned my girl.
He's foaming at the mouth to get that, you know? Please,
exactly.
Please let me.
Yeah, I need another 50K, bro. Please. Don't do this to me, big dog. I need that money bad.
You promised. You shook on it, man. You shook on it. Don't be like that. Don't be
like
bitch.
a crack fiend. Like a crack fiend, yeah. Oh, man. And then check this out from Cambosos' father. He's got more in the arsenal.
Your manager negotiated a shit deal.
Listen,
I negotiated such a good deal that I'm taking money out of your pay-per-view.
Did you hear that? Let's hear that again.
You've spent 6 weeks of a training camp thinking about 50K.
Okay.
And you know why? Because your manager negotiated a shit deal.
Listen,
I negotiated such a good deal that I'm taking money.
He sounds like Donald Trump. And I negotiated a great deal. This great deal that I negotiated, which is a fantastic deal, by the way. But this deal that I negotiated is like, man, let's start calling him George Trump Sr. That's what he is. The art of the deal.
He reminds me of Carl, the boxing kangaroo.
Oh, yeah, Carl. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does sound like Carl, doesn't he? Probably from the same area. Hey, how you doing, Sobas? Oh, fuck. You know what?
Yeah, imagine that's how you look like, too.
Nah. Well, I think he's been on camera before. People say he looks like a bearded caveman. By the way, Carl lives over at the...
ringside, Gold Coast Convention Centre.
Yeah, I think that's where he lives. Ringside at the Gold Coast. But yeah, check this out. The theatrics didn't end here.
You fucking pay-per-view,
you're guaranteed and bums on seats.
I'm gonna beat the fuck out this bum.
It's not my fault your manager didn't negotiate a deal.
So again, more jawing from Hitchins. You can tell Hitchins really started getting incensed once Cambosos Sr. or whatever his name is. I don't even know if it's Cambosos Sr.'s. But we'll call him Cambosos Sr. from now on. But once he started talking about your obsession with the 50K and the fact that your manager negotiated he said, I think he even said he was a shit deal, just like your breath. And so I think that's what really got under Hitchins' skin, because check out how he starts reacting.
Such a good deal that I'm taking money out of your pay-per-view. You're guaranteed and bums on seats.
I'm gonna beat the fuck out this bum.
You know what? It's not my fault your manager didn't negotiate a deal.
Let's save it for the fight. Let's save it for the what?
Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
He gave so Camboso's father, who looks like he's probably been in a couple of barroom brawls ringside at the Gold Coast Convention Center. Just all of a sudden, he sees the brouhaha and says, "Let's get it done." Like he actually seemed happy to get into a scuffle, and just walked up to Hitchins' trainer and just gave him a little bitch slap. Let's watch that again.
Your manager didn't negotiate a deal.
Let's save it for the fight. Save it for the what?
Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Somers, what do you think about that? That little
He smacked him with the mic, bro, like a bitch.
Yeah, what? Did he hit him on the mic or with the mic? Because we heard the boom, the thumb there.
You hear the mic echo like someone kissed it or something, right? Smacked his ass in the mouth with that shit.
Even DiBella and Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's smiling, by the way. As soon as he saw a blow being thrown, he was smiling. But listen, people might say, "Oh, come on, the punch was unnecessary. That's taking it too far." I don't know. I mean, if you're a guy whose breath smells like a sewer, and he's putting that breath all over you, that's sort of like triggers a primal response, like, "Oh shit, survival instinct. I gotta get this dangerous thing away from me." You know, that's why there's plants in the Amazon that release this stink, so that other predators won't get near them. Animals do that too. They cover themselves with like a stinky thing, a musk, so that it keeps predators away. So it's a primal thing. So this dude with the sewer mouth comes at your son, your progeny. You're gonna want to defend yourself. So I don't justify it, but I do explain it that way. Like, put yourself in the Camboso's shoes. This guy with hellmouth comes at you. You're going to react one way or another, and one of those ways might be violent. Sobers, do you agree? The silence means yes. He agrees with me. Who wouldn't agree with me?
Get it done.
Let's get it done.
Come on, let's get it done.
Let's get it done. How many times has Camboso Sr. Said that in a bar fight? Let's get it done. Let's get it's gonna be terrifying. That's a terrifying thing, Sobers, about fighting Australians, is that they already sound drunk. And they act drunk. So now you got your mind starts going, okay, if this guy's really drunk, then now I'm in trouble. Because that's just double the danger. Now we fast forward here to the theatrics ensuing after this little brouhaha, which didn't even, I thought it would have elicited a more intense response from everybody involved. It's almost like everyone's asleep here. Maybe it's Hitchins' shit breath is lulling people to sleep. Maybe that's what it does. It's some sort of like a poison that makes people lose their consciousness, drains people's energy. So check this out.
What we'll do is...
He borrowed the 50K. He borrowed the 50K just like he borrowed all that jewelry.
Millions over here, Chad. Good on ya. We're making millions over here. I don't know what.
Did you see how Hitchins was relaxed, or not relaxed, but he was quiet. He was a little bit intense, but just relatively quiet. And as soon as Camboso Sr. brings up the money again, and then the fake jewelry, that seems to be what really got under Hitchins' skin. Because look at his reaction.
He borrowed the 50K just like he borrowed all that jewelry.
Millions over here, Chad. Good on ya.
We're making millions over here. Sobers, do you believe that?
No, I don't believe that shit at all. That's why he got called out for borrowing Gervonta Davis's chain. Didn't he took a picture with it? Oh, that's some weirdo bummy shit.
Yeah, that's when did that happen? Was that recently, or was that a year ago? Or I saw that on Twitter.
I don't know, but I know they used to hang out, right? Because there was a video. I remember seeing like an old video of Adrian Broner and Gervonta Davis. They're doing like some weird little gyrating dance outside the club or something. And there's one more like extra dark, there's like a background character, like looks like a mystery character in the back. You don't really know who it is.
The game.
But if you pay attention, it's Richardson Hitchins. But no one knew who the fuck he was back then. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, apparently I'm looking it up. Apparently this is recent. The back and forth. Allegedly, from what I understand, is Gervonta Davis is having words with Hitchins about a chain. that supposedly was borrowed or maybe even stolen. We don't know. And that's what they're fighting over. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. So here's a video in question that Sobers is talking about. Let me just post it here because an image is worth 1,000 words. Hold on a second. All right. Bear with us. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Shout out to Technique, Pound for Pound King, Grim Reaper, Iron Fist, Matt Chad, Tyler, Jesse, Super Sardonic, Langsbury, everybody who's here in the morning. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Yeah, check this out. This is a video from a way back. Oh, you're right. That's Richardson Hitchins right there. See, back then, when I remember I saw this video.
You wouldn't have known at the time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and they're doing a very gyrating dance, very close to each other, sagging pants. That is a weird... and they're in there
touching each other, grabbing onto each other.
Yeah, in front of the 7-Eleven. You can tell the Asian store owners probably called the police 5 minutes after this. Like, you just know the cops showed up after this. And you can tell they're trying to keep Hitchins away because I think even back then he was starting to develop his halitosis.
They're like, all right, back up shit, bro. You stay in the back, way back.
Yeah, it's like, hey, wait, you know, they're right next to the 7-Eleven. It's like, why don't you go get yourself some Listerine strips, bro? Go get yourself some Listerine strips. They even paid for it, probably, because it was so bad. But Fight Hype actually does, what they do is that they just grab a bunch of tweets and they do a compilation. So apparently, Gervonta Davis said, all the jewelry this N-word had on was someone else's. Hate when N-words get a little spotlight and start moving crazy. That was on June the 12th, so it was yesterday. By the way, it's Friday the 13th, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. Hopefully it's not a ominous day in which this Iran-Israeli war or conflict escalates, but it is what it is. But yeah, he's right. Look at Hitchins. He gets a little money, all of a sudden the chains, the purses, talking about $50K. Meanwhile, the Cambosos are clowning him on it, and that just makes him more incensed. Then Hitchins replied by saying, "You lame as fuck, N-word. You let me wear a chain that you had to give back to the jeweler. Okay. Oh yeah, that wasn't that true, Sobers? That at some point Tank Davis got in trouble with the jewelers. He had to return jewelry or something.
I think him, Broner, Floyd, all them fools had to give back their jewelry.
What's the matter with him?
But he also had to give that back to Gervonta Davis, right? So it wasn't even yours to give back to anybody. Let anybody borrow. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the common thing, right? That supposedly a lot of these guys they rent jewelry. I think isn't that what I heard? Like that.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but that's the dumbest shit ever, dude. I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, man. People rent the inside of planes just to take a picture on it and post it on Instagram and pretend that they're traveling on a private jet. So anything's possible now with today's generation. So Gervonta replies by saying, "Dirty ass little boy, you had that chain for 3 to 4 years, pussy. And when I see you, be ready." Okay, so Gervonta Davis always with the fucking threats, man. He's always threatening. He's threatening to beat people up. He's threatening to run trains on people's sisters. And I'm not kidding about that. He really said that at one point. So they're going over it. They're going at it over a chain, which is really bizarre. But yeah, so the press conference didn't end there. So you saw Cambosos' father telling Hitchins that he's borrowing jewelry, they're borrowing money, his manager sucks because he negotiated a crap deal. Meanwhile, Cambosos Sr. acting like Donald Trump, saying, "I negotiated a great deal. It's a fantastic deal." And so now this is where it's at. And let's not forget, he hit Hitchins' trainer. Okay, so keep that in mind as we see this. Then Cambosos, the son, gets into the action in regards to the money. Check this out.
Go and bet on yourself. What's wrong with you?
The money right here.
That's good. You borrowed it. You borrowed it to turn up with it.
The money's right here. They want to bet it on you. Right here.
What is that? What did that? Is that one of those stickers that holds the money together? Something fell out. Check this out. He's shaking the money, all proud, and then something pops out. Even Hitchins' trainers are, "Oh shit, was that a bill?" They all looked. See that Eddie Hearn? They all look down. Like, what the fuck?
Like, he's like, fuck, he was really resisting the urge to jump down on his hands and knees and pick that up in front of everybody.
he's gotta get the money back to the bank.
He needs that money.
he's got to get the money back to the bank before 6 o'clock. So if he misses something, that's coming out of pocket. The way you said it, he fought the urge to get on his knees, on his hands and knees on the floor.
Come on, bro. That's what he's looking at the ground doing right now. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, yeah, he almost shit his pants. Oh, man.
Right here.
Yeah. Probably fake. Fake money.
Now it's fake money. Fake jewelry. We don't do nothing fake in New York.
You are fake.
This is New York.
All right, so Camboso says that's probably fake money, and Hitchins replies by the old thing where I'm from New York, nothing fake in New York. So isn't everything fake in New York? The bootleg DVDs, the Rolexes being sold by Nigerians. I mean, there's a lot of bootleg shit in New York.
He probably bought his jewelry outside somebody's, out the trunk of somebody's car.
Yeah, he's Haitian, right? How much you want to bet?
Yeah.
I know Haitians here in Canada. We got a lot of Haitians, good people. And I know for a fact that they always know somebody's like, hey, I can get you some jewelry. I can get you a Rolex. You get your gold Rolex. Half the price. So you telling me Hitchins doesn't, I mean, come on. Ain't nothing fake in New York. A lot of shit's fake in New York. What's he talking about?
City. We don't do nothing.
By the way, you saw their Hitchins' trainer. Look at how he's looking across the. He wants to hit the Camboso so bad. He wants to get his lick back against Camboso Senior, and he's just
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like he was trying to play it off like nobody saw him get smacked like that.
But I think that you're right. Yeah, he's in his mind. He's probably thinking, okay, maybe people didn't see me. Hopefully, they didn't see me get hit. But now he's thinking, what if they did see? Because again, we heard the sound of the microphone pop. You know. Oop. So now he's thinking, I gotta do something. It's my rep. People in the streets, they're gonna call me a pussy. They're gonna say, "Hey, did you let that white boy Australian?" Well, you know, they're probably saying, that British guy. They're probably saying that British guy. You know, it's all the same to them. That British guy, that limey hit you, man. What you gonna do about it, boy?
Did you let that Euro bum hit you?
Exactly. yeah, that Euro bum. Yeah. So he's saying nothing fake in New York, and then check this out. 58-50. Hitchins says something interesting in regards to another ass-style fighter.
Start with you as the champ. How do you win this fight on Saturday night?
Dominating fashion. Like I said, Saturday night, I won't be going nowhere. I'll be right in front of him. Bill Haney want to say, don't run. Get knocked the fuck out.
Talks about
I ain't
everyone
fucking
else.
Devin Haney. I'll be right
Bill
there in front of
Haney.
him all night punishing this guy.
So Bill Haney's in the crowd, apparently. We're going to get to him, by the way. But Hitchins starts saying, I ain't no Devin Haney. And, you know, people like to make fun of Haney for going out with a former whore, or possibly even a still present-day whore. People make fun of him for being a pussy, a clincher, ass-style fighter, shitting his pants against Ryan Garcia, losing to an Instagram model in Ryan Garcia. But I'll say this. He fought Lomachenko. He beat Jojo Diaz, who's a good, decent name. He beat Linares. He went to Australia to fight Cambosos twice. He beat Prograis. That's about as good or better than anything Hitchins has done so far. You know, Hitchins losing to Lemos, getting a gift decision, clinching his way to a gift decision, and then beating Liam Paro, barely beating Liam Paro. I don't know where this guy gets the goal to start bad-mouthing Devin Haney. And then on top of that...
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't like this guy's style. And I don't like anything about this dude, to be honest. He's really annoying. He's really not entertaining. And he's just a fucking loudmouth. But my bad, I cut you off.
All that, no, it's okay, man. All that jawing he's doing, he better deliver on Saturday. That's all I'm going to say. He better outperform Haney.
I'm going to be right
He's
there.
not.
Well, we'll see, man. He's talking a good game here. That's for sure.
All fucking night.
Oh, we ready.
I worry about the whole boxing
Bill been
world.
telling me.
This whole sport is my shit.
Tell him, Bill.
Richardson,
Tell him,
Hitchins
Bill.
here to take the
Tell
whole
him.
fucking sport
He's
over.
disrespecting your
And I'm
son.
going to make an example.
So now he starts going at it with Bill Haney. Like, again, the art of war. You focus on one opponent. Don't start spreading yourself too thin. But then, again, this is indicative of Hitchins losing control because he's still seething about the money comments.
Respecting your son.
He reckons,
I'm making an example.
your son
This
out.
is my
Tell him.
By the way, inside the squared circle with King Judah says, what's your obsession with hating Devin Haney? We're defending him, believe it or not, in this scenario. Hitchins is out of whack here, as they like to say in the streets.
Bill, this is my shit.
Yeah.
This is my shit.
Tell him,
This
Bill.
is my shit. Fuck
Your
wrong with
city.
y'all.
Ooh, so many
This is my
tickets.
shit. I already done gave it to your son.
2,000
And when they
tickets
after him, put my name.
Gave what to his son? What's he talking about?
That dude.
No, yeah, I already gave it to your son. That sounds kind of... I don't know, man. He's got first of all, he's got a purse. He's got shit breath. Probably like I don't know. Maybe he's been eating a guy's ass or something. I don't know. So that's suspect already with the purse, the obsession with jewelry and money, which is very effeminate. Now he's saying, "I already gave it to your son." What does that mean? Gave what to your son?
We'll play hard too.
What is going on? What went on? What went on between Hitchins and Haney?
Go!
You never know, man. Let's keep watching this.
With y'all. This is my shit. I already done gave it to your son. And when they after him, put my name, take my name off that hit list and print it on the fucking paper, nigga. And see if I'm accepted.
Oh, now the N-word starts flying around. That's not right.
See if I'm accepted. You know what it is. You know I'm a real one, nigga. You know I'm a real one, nigga. I've been putting that work. World champ for.
What's with again?
Clearly, he's real.
Put it into context, overs. Look at all that jawing, and then consider the type of fighter he is. An ass-style back foot bitch.
Yeah, I know. It's just that's what I'm saying. It's just irritating to see him do all that, make all that noise. Like, bro, you're not about that. And so does the boxing public. Anybody who's seen your fight. That's why they're not selling any tickets.
Right.
It speaks for itself.
This is the fight.
It's the same thing that that Devin Haney will do. The same bullshit that Shakur Stevenson will do. I'm gonna beat the shit out you. I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass. And then you're fighting. What'd you say? Like negatively the whole fight. You're just being a back foot bitch. So it's just really frustrating hearing that because it can get you hyped up into the fight. You're like, oh man, maybe you hear what he's saying. He said I'm gonna stand right in front of him the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you he won't do that.
Well, listen,
Shakur if you believe that, you're just setting yourself up.
Shakur Stevenson at least stood his ground against Hartoononian. Yeah, he couldn't put a dent on the guy, but at least what I'm saying is he tried. Hitchins is coming in here against a smaller guy who's got no guard, doesn't know how to cut the ring off. You're faster than him, you're longer than him, taller than him. I want to see Hitchins throw combos here. He's doing all this jawing. Don't do the same thing that you've done before in the past, Hitchins, where I'm a real this, I'm a real that, blah, blah, blah. All that jawing, getting up, he on stage, losing control. Lose control in the ring. Let your hands go. I don't want to see a one punch at a time type of shit. Let those hands fly.
Exactly.
Reason, nigga. Ain't no paper champion over there. I went and took that shit. Ain't nobody give me no belt. I took that shit. Fuck wrong with y'all. This my shit.
Come on, bro.
He's losing control, man. He really is. And all it took was a couple of comments about him borrowing Bonnie. Like, imagine if you would have gotten really into detail, Camboso Senior's like, man, you ain't got no down payment on houses. You ain't got that type of money. You got bad credit. That would have, some real financial shit. If he would have dressed him down financially, yeah, financial rape. That would have been it for Hitchins. He probably would have pulled out a gun or something, which we're going to talk about that, by the way. Okay, so he's going at it with Bill Haney there. Again, spreading himself too thin. All right, now let's fast forward here. Check this out.
Tell him, Bill. He's disrespecting your son. He thinks he's better than your son.
All y'all niggas gonna fall in line real soon.
All right, now look at that. So you look at the far left there. That's Hitchins' trainer, who minutes earlier had been on the receiving end of a Camboso Senior blow, a bitch slap, if you will. So he's already up. So why is he standing up? Again, he was out of frame couple of seconds ago, so we didn't see him stand up. But look at him, he's standing up, and you can tell he's scheming. He's scheming and deceiving. Something's going on here. He's planning something.
Everybody, give it another year. Y'all
this guy thinks he's better than Lomachenko, your son, Lopez. He thinks better than anybody.
See, did you see that? He grabbed onto the chair there. Check this out. See that right there? See that?
Than anybody.
You see that he's going back and forth with the chair? He's testing out if it's not bolted to the ground. And he's testing out how heavy it is. Because you already know where this is going. All right, so now you heard her, Bill Haney, saying something about slaps. And look at Hitchins' trainer. He's just waiting, itching to do something here with that chair. So he gives him the microphone, right? Oh, check this out. Yeah, that dude, you can tell he's done time. He was just his brain got triggered. Like, I got to do something. But what if I don't do something? Okay, maybe I shouldn't do something. Maybe people didn't see me get hit. But I got to do something for the streets. And then look at that. Even see that dude, the bodyguard there, or security guy. He already knew what was going to go on. It's probably ex-military or police officer or something. He read the room. Situational awareness, as they like to say. See, as soon as he saw the microphone passing there, he says, okay, he's going to do something.
Did I embarrass you?
I'm in your city. I'm here. You don't give a fuck. I'm in your city. I don't care. Bring everyone.
We got to clip that, Sobers. Did I embarrass you every time? You know, like when you decimate people on here in debates and all that? We should just play that. Did I embarrass you?
Yeah, that would be your soundbite, right?
Yeah. And what's with Camboso Senior's shirt, by the way? It's like a 1980s shirt. I'm telling you, this guy's terrifying.
I got boys too, trust me.
He got that Hank Hill ass.
Sobers, why are you staring at his ass, man? What the fuck?
He's built, bro. He looks funny as hell.
But it's true, yeah, because if you got no ass, cover that shit up, man. Don't put on these tight ass shirts to try to show that ass, man. What the fuck? You know what? I hate you, Sobers. Now I can't unsee the fact that he's got Hank Hill's ass, like the flat, deformed ass. What's the matter with you, man? Come on, man.
Like the medical condition flat ass.
If listen, when you're right, you're right.
You were correct.
What is that? That's a flat ass if I've ever seen that, man.
That is a great ass.
Ah, come on. What?
Great ass!
This man has a great ass. I'm not gay. Just because I love his ass doesn't make me gay.
All right, listen. What's with all the ass talk? It's too early, man. Hey, Sobers, last question about ass. What do you think smells worse? Camboso Senior's flat ass or Hitchins' breath?
Hitchins' breath, bro.
Ah, come on.
He probably got a fake grill in there, you know?
Didn't give a fuck. Bring all your boys. Bring all your boys. Where's your boys?
Oh, I got a question. Who was he trying to swing the chair at?
Probably Camboso Senior, because again, he's the guy that smacked him.
Okay, because I don't know if he was going back and forth with Bill Haney.
No, he tried to throw the chair towards the right side of the dais or the podium, whatever, the stage. So it had to have been at. I mean, he took a punch or slap, whatever, from Camboso Senior. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's what that was a target. All right, so hold on. Like, do we got anything else for this video? Trainers. Yeah, okay, there you go. So that was it. And Hitchins started saying that, he had boys in New York. I think he even told Camboso something like, you might not make it out of New York. So that's a big threat right there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. He was like, you better watch out for you not make it out of here, out the city. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You got street connections and shit. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, so what we've got here is he thinks he's a gangster. He's got fake money. What else? Fake jewelry. Shit breath. So now he's threatening the guy he's threatening Cambosos that they're gonna whack him in New York. So Cambosos, not exactly the most mentally balanced individual, had this to say after the press conference. Hold on a second, that's not it.
Knock right now. I'm not here to play around. I want a real knock right now. So if he wants to have a crack, we have a crack. Aussie style. I'm from Sydney. Yeah, we're in New York. What do I care? You got your boys, bring your boys.
He did the same thing that I just said earlier. I'm from Sydney. It's okay. Who cares where you're from? Like, everyone, people are always from the specific point of the world, and apparently from that specific point of the world, everyone does things differently. I'm from Tijuana. I'm from Orange County. I'm from Brooklyn. We don't play that shit. Like, who gives a shit?
Look at his BDA. He's wondering where the liquor's at.
Are you saying he wants to do it 1930s style? Is that what you're saying?
Aussie style. I'm from Sydney. Yeah, we're in New York. What do I care? You got your boys, bring your boys. We got boys too. We got boys worldwide. I got real killers that will come in a second. Don't try to play me.
Oh, he got killers too.
That's right. Yeah, he's got killers, and Hitchins has killer breath.
You getting deja vu being over here?
Yes, yeah, beautiful. I love it. 2-0 trifecta. And I was respectful, very nice. I told you, not here for talk, but don't come in my face flashing money like I am made 8 figures multiple times in the game.
You think his jewelry is real or what?
This ain't just boxing. I reckon that shit was fake as well.
They need to get an appraiser now. Find out if that jewelry is real. I'll tell you something. None of this would be happening. I don't think Hitchins would be this vocal and vociferous against Kambosos, who's also being quite vocal as well. I don't think any of this would be happening if they were fighting at the
ringside, Gold Coast Convention Centre.
I mean, that type of shit doesn't go on over there. The Aussies don't play over there. They'll straighten you out.
They won't allow it.
That's right.
The Gold Coast Convention Centre.
Let's continue hearing what Kambosos had to say about that.
Money. You know, you can get that fake money, that pretend stuff.
All right, so he says Kambosos there not looking crazy at all, saying he's got backup too, if need be. So that's what happened there at the press conference. Then later on, the Kambosos ended up taking pictures with Bill Haney, very buddy-buddy. You'll notice that the Haneys are always very buddy-buddy with the people that they beat after the fight. The only people they're not buddy-buddy with was again with the Garcias. And I'm talking even before the revelations of the Austrian. After I remember when they announced the decision, Garcia walked over to the Haneys, and Bill Haney looked like he wanted to die. He just had this look that he was depressed. So when they win, they're like, yeah, let's take pictures, guys. They're going over to the opposite corner. Let's take pictures. Let's take pictures, like a dominance thing, you know, like a guy, people posing with their victim, a hunter posing with its victim, you know, with the elephant they just shot or the deer they just. But then when they lost, like they couldn't wait to get away from the Garcias. So they don't keep it real. And that's what, again, so just going back to this, Hitchins says he talked a big game. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm a real one. This is my stage, this is my world. And then he's better show up and throw down. He better let those combos flow. He better try to stop Kambosos. We don't want to see, even if he stands his ground. Okay, you're standing your ground, throw combos. We don't want to see the one punch at a time type shit. Let those hands fly, because you talked a big game. You're trying to get people interested in this fight. Now you got to deliver. Otherwise, say bye-bye to those paydays.
I don't know, BDA. I feel like we've literally seen this movie twice already with Haney and Kambosos. Right. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right, Sobers. Fool me once, fool me twice. Shame on me. So we'll see, man. And we're going to talk more about this back foot bitching thing, because, again, this is a conversation that's really taking place and intensified throughout the YTBC, the whole running thing, which, by the way, we're talking running, clinching too. Not just running, clinching, dipping below the waist, any type of infractions that people for some reason have gotten into their heads that, no, that's legal. No, running is illegal. Clinching is illegal. There's no difference between holding and clinching, by the way. It's the same shit. It's just different. It's a synonym. And dipping below the waist and all these type of things. So this is the type of stuff that we want people to understand that, hey, big no-nos here. Big no-nos. So we're going to get to that later as it pertains to Hitchins and Shakur Stevenson. But we mentioned Bill Haney. And I got to tell you, Bill Haney seems to be losing it back in New York. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I don't know what's going on with the Haneys, but then Eddie Hearn...
I still love my son, in case you were wondering.
Exactly, yeah. What a weird thing to say.
I'm on my way.
What a weird thing to say after your son gets his ass beat and shits his pants in front of everybody. I still love my son. It's like, all right. Aren't you supposed to love your son no matter what? What's the matter with you? So check this out. Bill Haney, live on Instagram or whatever he is, walking around in New York. Check this out.
I said I'm on my way. I'm coming to Brooklyn, and I'm looking for T.O. and the senior, and I'm going to see what you're scared of. And I'm walking, so I don't miss nothing.
First of all, I don't know if you guys saw. So he's talking about, I'm here looking for the senior, the Lopez's. First of all, does he really, he sounds like a maniac. Stalking a celebrity who thinks, hey, I'm gonna arrive in LA, and as soon as I hit the streets, I'm gonna meet my idols. It's like, what do you think? They were just walking the streets randomly, like it's a small town? It's a big ass city. I'm looking for the Lopez, and you can tell he's wearing. See that he's wearing the tracksuit and everything. He went for his morning walk. That's what he did. He doesn't run. He doesn't work out. It's just a morning walk to try to shake off the effects.
He better watch out.
What do you mean?
So some YouTuber just shot another one. You know, over some YouTube beef, and he was doing the exact same thing that Bill Haney's doing. He's, I'm looking for him right now, and he found him, and he got his ass.
That's true. Yeah, I saw it. I think that went viral. That, by the way, the guy who fired the shots, was he a juggalo or something? What do they call it?
No, he's a little cholo.
Okay. Because he looks like a juggalo with the makeup and all that. It looked like he had clown makeup on. You know, like the cholo makeup.
Right, the Joker face shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he looked like. So, no, that dude's going away for a long time because there's videos of him saying that that's what he wanted to do. So that's premeditated right there. That guy is going away for a long time. All over YouTube, by the way. Reminds me of a certain person from Texas with a long rap sheet and a predilection for young girls. You never know. That guy's probably going to go away too one day. One of these days.
I'm coming to Brooklyn, and I'm looking for T.O. and the senior, and I'm going to see what you're scared of. And I'm walking so I don't miss nothing or nobody that you know. I'm looking for Teofimo Sr. and Jr.
This guy's got no shame, by the way. Bill Haney's got no shame. And look at the swagger he's got when he's walking. Like he's really going to do something. He knows that, like, I'm looking for Teofimo Lopez. You know he's not nowhere near the vicinity. What's the matter with you? He's got that fake confidence thing down to a T.
And whoever condoned this, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way where? Sobers, this guy's unhinged.
Yeah, he's a goofball. He's a charlatan. He's a showman, bro. He's a fucking clown.
Yeah, you know what? If he was living in the Midwest 100 years ago right now, he'd be working in a carnival. Step right up. The man with 3 arms or some dumb shit like that.
Like a minstrel show, yeah.
Yeah, well, oh, come on.
I'm looking for Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Jr.
All right, so now he's harassing this poor immigrant woman there. She doesn't know who the fuck this is. She probably thought she was about to get robbed.
Do you know Teofimo? Si habla español.
And then he goes, like, oh, yeah, these Mexicans are fucked up. It's like, she's probably Ecuadorian or something. These guys, they're all the same to him.
Deported.
By the way, this woman is probably thinking, oh, is this guy going to rob me or something? Bill Haney just walks away. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you see, it ain't starting out good. You said you was from Brooklyn, so I want to see what makes a man that represents Brooklyn.
Is he even in Brooklyn, by the way, or is he in Manhattan?
Say that he ain't with it. I'm on my way.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
You know Teofimo Lopez Jr. or Sr.? They said they from Brooklyn, and I know y'all know.
This guy's unhinged, man. Like, does he think this shit is funny, Sobers? I don't get it. He's going up to monks now, Buddhist monks. Well, he probably thinks
he's asking for Teofimo.
Yeah. This dude is unhinged, man. He probably thinks these people are aliens or something, that they can see the future or a remote view or something.
Everything, y'all be seeing everything.
Oh no.
See, y'all be seeing everything. What? I think he's gotta be high, Sobers. That's why he's wearing glasses. He's sweating, even though he's just walking. I think he did coke or something before that. He's having heart palpitations.
Would that be classified as ignorance or racism when he starts saying shit like that to these guys dressed in these robes? Y'all be seeing everything, right?
Yeah, probably both. And then at the end, he's like, hey, man, I'm rooting for you. I guess you ran. He probably thinks they're Jews or something.
You don't know him?
We're just learning.
He had on that at the last fight with Devin. He did. I know it's... Yeah, see? Teofimo? Don't nobody know you. Even they don't know you. But I'm going to continue looking for you. I'm going...
And people know who's his son, Devin Haney is. They don't even know who he is either. They're thinking, who's the black guy who is harassing us? They were 1 second away from calling the cops. You better believe it.
Went back to the bridge.
You think it's Jamie Foxx?
Exactly, yeah.
Across the bridge, I done went to Gleason.
Will Smith, we love you.
They think he's Steve Harvey. Hey, he looks a little different today.
And listen, let's pray for Senior, because I hope he didn't jump off.
All right, so that's enough of him. I don't know. He's unhinged, probably on coke. I mean, why not? He used to sell narcotics to kids. Wouldn't put it past him to still be dipping into his own product. But people might argue, you guys might be saying, why is he acting this way? He's more unhinged than usual. Well, this little snippet here from Eddie Hearn from yesterday's press conference might explain why Bill Haney is acting the way he is. Check this out.
Bill Haney's here. He's in Brooklyn. Has he rang you?
Yeah, he rang me the other day. Told me he's in New York. We're going to meet, I think, tomorrow.
What do you think of this Lopez Haney thing? Was it just fruition? Was it media hype? Is it a fight that you'd like to see
think
next?
That Devin probably spent most of the Ryan Garcia 2 money already, and now obviously the fight's not happening. So Devin and Bill will want to get a big fight moving. So when the Ryan Garcia fight fell through, they're thinking, who are we going to fight? And obviously the opportunity to fight Teofimo presented itself. Sounds like they were all in, but Teo had other plans.
All right, so you heard it there. Eddie Hearn, who would know a thing or two about Haney's finances because he did work with him for a while, so he knows how much he made and probably has an idea interacting with Haney about how much he spent or how much he spends. So he said, just to repeat to people who just might have dropped in, he says the Haney's probably already spent that Garcia money, the Garcia fight money. So it makes sense.
Wow.
It makes sense that they would be incensed at the fact that Teofimo Lopez backed out because, again, the Garcia fight fell through. Even De La Hoya now is telling Garcia to take a break to heal from his injuries because he just had a bunch of surgeries. So he's probably out of commission for a while. Garcia is. That means that rematch is gone, bye-bye. The Lopez fight just fell through because Lopez gave the Haney's a taste of their own medicine with shenanigans. We're going to fight. Oh, actually, we're not going to fight. Sorry. Now the Haney's are desperate because, remember, this ain't 2022 anymore, 2023. He can't just set up these fights against unmatched opponents and make decent money. He can't set up a pro-grade fight anymore. Eddie Hearn said that Haney, after he came back from the Garcia loss, faced the tough reality that he's not a name anymore. He lost that O. That's all he had was an O. And building a mythos around that O, like, oh, this guy's the next Mayweather. He's unbeatable. He can't be beat. Yeah, he still has an O on paper, but in the streets, as they like to say, people know he's got a 1 on that record. So he's not getting the type of money he wants. So when the Teofimo Lopez fight came along, he says, oh, shit, the Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to pay us good money for that. Then Lopez pulled away. Now the Haney's are like, well, what do we do now? The only way they're going to make good money is by actually taking on a challenge. And that's probably at welterweight. So that's why they're probably pissed. But you know what? The Haney's did get a lifeline because we're going to talk about that Ennis, Jaron Ennis, is moving up to 154 now. That is official. So that dude leaves a 147-pound division. Now the Haney's can move in there and try to finagle, because it's a weak division for the most part. They can try to get there and finagle a title and call themselves 3-division world champions. But Sobers, what do you think about that? Do you think it's true that the Haney's are already in some sort of financial difficulty and sort of facing the reality that if they want to make big bucks, they got to fight somebody that's dangerous?
Well, I really don't know much about them to like really know like how they spend money, whatever. Mm-hmm. You do see Devin Haney with these pass around girls that rappers like to smash. So maybe he's spending a lot of money to keep around a girl. You know, maybe his dad is low-key robbing him. Who knows, right? But yeah, I mean, it's easy to see that they could have spent the money because they could have spent the money thinking that they're gonna get twice as much back very soon because they're already planning on that rematch with Ryan Garcia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes a lot of sense, and maybe that explains why Bill Haney's acting so unhinged and so angry at the Lopez's, because maybe they were already expecting, okay, now we can put a down payment on that Corvette, the Lexus, blah, blah, blah. And no, they're finding out now they're probably going to have to fight somebody dangerous to get the money that they want. And Teofimo Lopez was dangerous, but it was a fight that even if they lost, they could say, at least we lost to a big name. Now they got to fight a dangerous name that might not be as lucrative or as big a name as Teofimo Lopez, who's not even that big a name either, but whatever. So that's what we got there, fellas. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Really helps us out. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the show. We're here with Never Sobers on this Friday morning, talking about Hitchins, Haney, financial difficulties for the Haneys. Let's see what we got here. Langsbury says Greenside Gold Coast Convention Center. Yeah, the convention center. That's where, I mean, that's where the action goes on over there in Australia. Casamigo says, Eddie, where can I get good ket? The hell's good ket? Is that a drug or something? Ketamine? Ketamine, yeah, that's probably what it is. So shout out to Matt Chat. The Matt Chatter says, Eddie, partly truth, partly fiction. Yeah, you got to take what Hearn says with a grain of salt. He is a promoter after all. But I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's lying about this one. Combat Sports Fan TV saying, is Hearn implying the Haneys didn't want to fight Rolly? Oh, that's a good question right there. Pound for Pound King says no one wants to see that rematch anymore. Yeah, that's gone. They should have made it straight away, but they all decided to try to milk it by having tune-ups, and look at what happened. Al Cuerpo Boxing says, Hearn and Lopez been saying the same thing I've been saying for a month. Haney just wants a bag because of the Times Square aftermath. Oh yeah, let's not forget, that was a bad look for the Haneys, man. People clowned them for that horrible performance against Ramirez. And I think Bill, he's been on overtime trying to play what do they call it? PR person for his son. Really trying to
damage control.
Damage control, absolutely. Thank you. But it's not working out, man. I mean, it's just going bad for the Haneys. Time after time. It's just, it's not good. They're not doing well.
And this isn't, I can't remember who I heard say this, right? But someone made a good point, right? It might have been the body bag boss of Rivia, if he's out there, bro. But he was saying that it's actually a good decision if Teofimo doesn't fight with the Haney. You know what I mean? Like, if he were to give Devin Haney a fight, he would be doing him a favor. And they're acting like, Haney's would be doing the Lopez's a favor because the dude looked so bad in his last fight. You know, no one wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Why would you want to associate with him? You know what I mean? You're gonna stain your name trying to fight this dude right now. And he was saying it's better off if you just, push him away, let him stay in the corner, and fuck him and fight someone that'll bring you more action. That's actually worth it. This guy, you don't need to do him a favor by associating your name, which is worth something, with his after the performance he put on against Ramirez.
That's an interesting point right there, man. You're right. Yeah, because people have had it with the whole running thing. We saw Turkey Al-Sheikh making a direct statement about that. We saw a lot of people losing their shit. By the way, let me just show you real quick. By the way, Matt Chat says, Bill will be back to slinging rock soon. Oh, come on. Yeah, you never know, man. Maybe to make ends meet or maybe raise a little collateral for something. Maybe he's going to dip in his toes in just for a little bit, just for once. Like in a movie, that one last deal. One last bank robbery, and then it all goes wrong. But in regards to this whole no running thing, like I said, it's really set the YTBC scene afire and alight with this discussion about runners. And we've talked about it ad nauseum now at this point. But it's interesting because, hold on a second, I'm looking for the tweet. I was looking at some tweets here of people who are angry with the Sheik for the whole no running thing, because they feel that it's targeting a certain demographic. Which, by the way, it's funny because Turkey Al-Sheikh never mentioned anything about race. He was talking about boxing styles. So check this guy out here. Again, look at the hyperbole. People wearing, these are the type of people that wear purses and they root for Tank Davis and Hitchins. Hold on a second. That's not. Go ahead.
Her dog will holler, BDA.
Oh. Never sobers with the old-timey expressions. Don't put any music on if you don't want to dance. What's the matter with you, sobers? I think, didn't I already warn you once? Didn't I already warn you once for these old-timey expressions that you come up with? You don't want to play with fire. If you don't want to get burned, don't play with fire.
It is what it is, man.
A dog. What was it? A dog. I heard dog will bark or what?
I heard dog will holler.
Holler. There you go. Oh, not even bark. Holler, like a mutt. Check this out. Look at this dude on Twitter. He says, worst part about, what the fuck? It's the same. You know what? A drunk dog will fuck that up like I'm doing here, man. What am I doing here? Where's the tweet that I'm looking for?
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Did I fuck this up? Don't tell me I saved the wrong tweet, man. Come on. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think I saved the second tweet twice. Fuck. What's the matter with me? What is the matter with me? All right, let me look it up here. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Sobers. Maybe if you can read a couple of comments, please, or just give your thoughts on the... Maybe if you still got some thoughts on the whole no running thing from the Sheik.
Actually, I do. Right. Let me take this chance to gloat. You know, because I think I said this a week or two ago when we were talking about how Stevenson disrespected Turkey and he had to do a public apology. And I was speculating that this guy Turkey, you know, just because he made you apologize, that doesn't mean he's going to let it go. And this guy Shakur Stevenson is nobody to Turkey. What Bob Arum thinks of him, what Top Rank thinks of him, you know, that's not the same thing in Saudi Arabia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he was introduced to Turkey, he was introduced as Jared's friend, right, by Eddie Hearn. And he was very curt with him. He was saying, I need a yes or no right now. You're going to fight, yes or no? And he was like, yeah. So I think from the get-go that Turkey's always kind of been given a little bit of a cold shoulder and like a no-nonsense kind of attitude. So after Shakur Stevenson disrespected him publicly and then tried to, you know, go back on it, I speculated, but I remember saying on here that I don't think he's going to let it go. He's going to make him pay for it, and that's to pay to fight. And he's going to put him in a small ring because he's not going to do this guy any favors, right? There is no American bias over there, right? And now we're even seeing there's even less of a bias for these back foot bitches, right? So he's Turkey's declared war on that style of boxing. So because of what Devin Haney did, because of what William Skoll did, you know, now he's going to make an example out of Shakur Stevenson.
And he's
going to put him in a phone booth with Zepeda, and he's going to get his ass toe up.
And you're saying that the nasty comments that were made by Shakur Stevenson is extra incentive to do this.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm saying. Like you're the Ferrari, bro. I'm gonna make an example out of you just because you're special because of what you said. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting point. And you know what? Before then I saw the tweet. Let's play a video of what Sobers is referring to, because I saw you post that I saw that this morning when I woke up, and I said, God damn, what's this all about? Hold on a second. I got it here, and I know I have it. All right. This is George Kambosos' father, the crazy Aussie, talking about the no-runner thing and how it might be how things might be changing for the better thanks to Turki Al-Sheikh. Check this out.
Agreement. He's fighting David Morrell on July the 12th. I can tell you one thing that's changed, and this is not me breaking any confidentiality or privacy agreements in the contract. But I tell you what, I agree with His Excellency, because that ring now has been reduced to 18 foot. It ain't a 20.
By the way, how drunk is George Kambosos Sr. right now? From 1 to 10. But you might gotta remember, these Aussies, they get hammered at 10 in the morning. And they can just go on all day. They can hold a conversation despite being drunk out of their asses.
See, because that ring now has
he's
been
blacked out right now.
Yeah, he thinks he's dreaming. Yeah,
I agree with His Excellency, because that ring now has been reduced to 18 foot. It ain't a 20-foot ring.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We all want to see fighters fight, and I'm really happy that ring now for July 12th is an 18 by 18 ring, internal, inside the ropes.
Yes.
That's going to make guys fight, not want to run and use.
All right, so if this is true, this is huge, because like Sobers was saying, 18 by 18 ring. That means no more. It's going to make it even more difficult for these guys to run around the ring, leap around like rabbits. This is interesting. This is an interesting development. Now, hopefully that rumor is true, though. But how would he know, though? What contact does he have with the Sheik? Or maybe somebody who had contact with the Sheik told him that. By the way, Sobers, hold on. I got to invite the Chief here. It's going to take us to another group. All right? All right. All right, we got the Chief here. Shout out to Chief in the morning. Hopefully, Chief is less intense in the morning than he is on the evenings.
There we go.
But
Good
yeah,
morning,
Chief.
sir.
Good morning, Chief. Hope you're doing well on this Friday. We just played a video of George Kambosos Sr. I don't even know if that's his name, by the way. But anyway, Kambosos' father said that he has it on good authority that Turkey Al Sheikh is going to be implementing 18 by 18 foot rings nowadays, or from now on. That's a significantly smaller ring than some of these guys are used to, which is usually, what, 22 by 24 or something like that. What do you think about that?
22 by 24 is a rectangle. So, so no, I
it's
actually,
in the morning. What the fuck
like
you want from me, man?
I do like the fact that it's, if you're going to fight the way everyone's trying to describe this sweet science of Haney and those guys, then it's just, I keep bringing up this example. It goes back to Tim Bradley versus, I forget who he was fighting, but when Teddy Atlas was training him, this is, okay, I don't mind if you throw the hook, just don't throw it right in front of him. And Tim Bradley tilted his head to the side because he didn't understand. And then, you know how Teddy Atlas does, he actually demonstrates it. He, with Bradley in front of him, he stepped to the side and threw and pretended to throw the hook. So he's on the outside angle of the fighter. This is getting them to use this sweet science that their fans swear that they fight by, and actually get them to use angles. Oh my goodness, geometry. Something in boxing that people don't understand.
Well, I don't understand either, apparently.
For your attack. You use angles for your attack. You use the way to attack them to where they're constantly against the grain and off balance, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Morales used to do this when he was young. And it's all just about simple, small, and Pernell Whitaker did his entire career. I know people don't like the way sometimes he backed up, but that sidestep and pivot, he always moved to where he was still facing you, but you weren't facing him. And so now when it comes time to strategy of being able to hit this guy, people are going to have to, brush up on their footwork. Because usually the response to that is someone ends up standing square to try and cut the ring off. And now your opponent's off balance. You should be able to, you may not be able to score knockouts if you don't have a punch, but it's about balance. They're on their heels. Their weight isn't evenly distributed from front to back. It's now parallel. And so you should be able to score quick flash knockdowns, which still creates excitement. And then that other person, when they get frustrated, leaves a lot more openings because they're behind and they get frustrated because they can't do these things. And this increases the sweet science to the game. So now the contrary thing that some people on this panel, myself included, is think these guys don't know how to do that. So they're crying because, oh, you're hurting us. No, we're making you use your skill set at a higher level. That's what it is.
First of all, great points, but second of all, leave it to Chief to bring up Pernell Whitaker. Nobody mentioned Pernell Whitaker. All the guys he claims to dislike, Fernando Vargas, Whitaker, he always has to bring them up for some strange reason. It's almost as if he's a fan of them.
I actually gave him a credit this time. So, I mean, even though I'm not the biggest fan, it shows that I can be objective. If I can give something positive to a fighter I don't like, then come on. You got to give me a little credit there, BDA.
No, yeah, you're right. And listen, this whole thing of Turkey Al Sheikh's comments about no more Tom and Jerry type of fights, I think it's wholly justified to us boxing fans who pay for these fights. It seems to me like it's the guys who don't pay for these fights that are completely okay with people breaking the rules and making these boring fights. Because let's recall, avoiding the action, whether by running or clinching, is against the rules. And we live and die by our rules. This sport cannot prosper if one guy's allowed to break the rules and the other guy can't do the same thing to try to even the playing field. Sobers, what do you think about all this talk about the 18-foot ring?
I love it. You know what I mean? It's a step in the right direction. So, yeah, the only people who are gonna have a problem with this are these guys that try to do their best to avoid a fight in a boxing match. So the fact that Turkey is trying to, and we've already seen shades of this before, right? You know, with the fights and the decisions we've seen in Riyadh, they seem to be favoring the guy who comes forward, the guy who's trying to press the action, you know, and in contrast to the United States, the guy who's usually backing up and they take the least amount of damage, they usually get the decision, the nod. So we're seeing the opposite. So it's been trending that way for a while, where Turkey wants to see these guys engage. And like you were saying, BDA, you know, people pay for these fights, they want to see it. Well, you know who's really paying for these fucking fights is Turkey. And imagine when he's right there sitting ringside at all these fights, and he's, you know, before that City of Wolves event, that 3-day event, you know, people were saying, oh, this is the greatest boxing weekend of all time, and this and that. And afterwards, I mean, they're like, what a fucking disaster. You know, thankfully, Inoue came and, you know, him and Cardenas had a good fight, you know, kind of saved the weekend. But if not, you know, yeah, like I was saying, people were trying to say this was the greatest weekend of boxing there were ever going to be, and it fell completely flat. And it's because these guys are fighting with this shit style and they're trying to act like it's good. They don't even like. Does he even have an excuse for that shit? Did Devin Haney have an excuse for that shit? Oh, I took a lot of time off or whatever. Like you look ass.
Yeah, he knows it. His
I don't know,
father
bro.
knows it. That's why he's running interference for his son so much. You're absolutely right. And the Turkey Al-Sheikh is not a guy whom you embarrass, and then just he leaves it at that. No, he has so much money, so much authority that he will do something about it. He's not averse to telling these guys, look, this isn't the way it works. And listen to this hyperbole from these people who clearly don't know boxing or are pretending that they don't know it, or they're just unhinged. Check this out. This is a tweet that I was talking about. This guy on Twitter goes, "Y'all don't care about the fighter's health, but want them to near die to entertain y'all." All right. So first of all, let's take a look at that. Y'all don't care about the fighter's health, but want them to damn near die to entertain y'all. Who said anything about them dying? The guy, Turkey Al-Sheikh said, "Let's implement the rules so that we have guys no longer avoiding contact and combat, which means no more running, no more clinching." That's all he said. So what this guy extrapolated from the no more running comment is that Turkey Al-Sheikh wants people to die. I mean, talk about hyperbole and talk about exaggeration.
Well, how frail are these fighters that he's talking about? Where that if they take a couple punches, they're gonna die.
Exactly. Great point.
It's not just that; it shows the lack of nuances of the sport that they are trying to quote unquote defend that they don't even understand. I just made the points about the fact that fine, then use your angles. Then make it to where you are using every last part of the nuance of the sport that you want to watch, and just use your footwork. Don't just footwork isn't just lateral movement to avoid combat. It's also taking an outside step and pivoting and doing all these things that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. And if this guy, y'all just want to see two people. No, I want to see people use Ray Leonard type footwork. I want to see people use Lomachenko type footwork. I want to see people use Chavez type footwork.
I want to see
and
you
he
box.
was aggressive. It's called boxing. That's what
I want to see you box.
I want to see them actually use things other than just like throwing long range punches and then tying up the second someone steps inside. What about blocking and pivoting? What about rolling with the shot for a counter? What about any of these little quote unquote again nuances that they like to use that word to make themselves sound smart? Why not use them? That's what we're asking for. If there's these highly skilled, generational talented guys, why can I see the fact that they can't do it and their coaches can't teach them how to?
That's a great point.
In fact, none of them fight on the inside.
Well, that's an interesting point, Sobers. Then they go, well, clinching is part of boxing, as if it's a skill, if it's a boxing skill. It's not a boxing skill. Yeah, it takes a little bit of know-how how to clinch a guy and hold on to him like you want to fuck him, but that's not part of boxing. In other words, it's not part of boxing skill. It's outside of the realm of skills. Throwing a jab properly, timing a guy, keeping him turning by pivoting, that's boxing skill. Clinching is cheating. It's against the rules. So yeah, it's like I said earlier. Yeah, it takes skill to be a cat burglar too and rob people's houses, but that's outside the scope of the law, and it's against the law. Just like clinching is against the rules. It's against boxing rules. And this guy, I'm gonna go ahead on a limb here and assume that he's probably one of those guys that said Lomachenko was overrated. I don't like the guy because he's overrated. When we all know the reality is he probably disliked him because of his skin color. Lomachenko's a guy who didn't run. He used skilled, great defense, but like what Chief is saying, he used pivots. He stayed in front of his opponent for the most part, keeping him turning and punching. Make him miss, make him pay. But this guy probably didn't enjoy that because, well, didn't fit into the type of guys he'd like to watch.
Well, he practiced one more thing another thing that I've preached on this platform a lot. Power thrills, speed kills, timing rules them all. They don't practice their timing. They rely on athleticism and speed. Okay, well, once the athleticism and speed isn't greater than the opponent and the other opponent, like Lomachenko against Haney, he starts to time that speed, and he's able to do so, even if Haney was technically faster of hand, maybe not a foot, but faster of hand than Lomachenko. Lomachenko's like, okay, well, let me watch the chest. The second that it flexes, he's about to throw a punch, and even if it's a flinch, he's going to leave an opening, so I'm going to have 6 different counters. That's why they call him the Matrix. You can say that's an overrated term all you want to, but when he's watching Haney's chest, knowing the fact when Haney's chest flexes that something is coming, whether it's a feint or anything else, he's got 5 different counters and moves to try and counteract that initial action that Haney wants to do. He knows what he's doing because it's his craft and he's a professional. He isn't just relying on the fact that he can run the 40 in 4 seconds flat and jump rope faster than anybody else and hit the speed bag faster than everybody else. He's honing his craft. He's using his brain on many different levels to be able to outthink his opponent. And once he outthinks his opponent, his strategy works and then he can outperform his opponent. It's a serious game that the greats know how to do this. Now you have your Roy Joneses that were just out that could out athlete everybody. But that's one guy and out of like 50 top fighters in one generation, right? Everybody else had to try and perfect and hone their craft. Lomachenko did it better than anybody else, regardless of what you think about him. If these guys really are the generational talent, they're being overlooked because of the loyalties, for lack of a better term, that everybody has towards certain fighters, then why aren't they doing the same thing he did? Why aren't they at least studying, working on their timing, figuring out how to make their opponent make these mistakes so they can capitalize on them? They're not doing it because they're relying on speed and athleticism. They're not honing their craft.
Absolutely. Hitting the pool noodles doesn't really help them how to hit and not get hit or throw with power. And this dude continues. So this guy on Twitter said, y'all don't, in regards to Turki Al-Sheikh's no running comments, which gained a lot of support, by the way. Real boxing fans all across the YTBC social media, I've seen them supporting Turki Al-Sheikh and praising him for that. But people like this dude are the opposite. And he goes, y'all don't care about the fighter's health, but want them to damn near die to entertain y'all? So first of all, he's, again, the hyperbole. So, hey, guys, don't run. That means that if these guys stop running and fighting like bitches, they're going to die. Like Sober said, that's how fragile these guys think their fighters are. That they're going to die if they, God forbid, they stop running and stay still for more than 5 seconds at a clip. They're going to die. These guys, listen, maybe this guy's projecting. He thinks they're all bitches like he is, maybe. I don't know. I'd hate to speculate that way, but that's what it sounds like. And then he goes, because it's the profession, he's saying that people always use that it's their profession excuse. And then he goes, hey, dickheads, most people with other routes readily available to them wouldn't choose boxing. First of all, yes, they would. There's a lot of people that like boxing just because of the contact and the danger. So, like I said, it's becoming clearer and clearer that this guy doesn't understand the fact that some people are built different and they enjoy a dangerous sport as a living or as a job. And then he goes, some fight for
why
the
did
love
they
of
choose boxing then? Well,
exactly.
why did they choose to try and become a professional athlete?
Yeah, somebody
they
put a
couldn't do
gun
it
to
in
their
any
head.
other sport, so it was boxing. So
yeah, nobody put a gun
you
to
gotta
their
fight.
heads.
Yeah, it's a fight.
Yeah, nobody put a gun to their heads. And then he goes, some fight for the love of the sport, yet, and, okay, by the way, this dude's sentences are clunky as hell. He goes, some fight for the love of the sport, yet, and still, it's not a death match. What? Anyway, and then he goes, some of y'all are legit stupid as fuck. Well, first of all, again, if you're going to call other people stupid, you better learn how to fucking write. And feel for the fighters having to deal with y'all idiot asses. Again, y'all idiot asses. And he has the nerve and the gall to call other people stupid. But again, this is the type of lunatic that we got to deal with. And the type of ignorant boxing fan. Again, the either or fallacy, like Jay Will is saying. Jay Will says, I see fans saying that if you don't want to see runners, then you just want to see rock'em sock'em robots. Like there isn't any in between. Exactly. That's the either or fallacy. These people are saying, well, either the fighter runs, which is a sweet sign, according to them, or you just want to see a slugfest. That's not what it is. There's an in between.
He's the same kind of fighter. Sorry, BDA. He's the same kind of fan that would describe boxing as like Jerry did, of two different types of styles of boxers and brawlers, and there is nothing in between. There's those two extremes and absolutes, and that's all there is to it. When everybody will use the word style, nuance, things like that to try and describe it to make themselves sound a little smarter, myself included. But the bottom line is, they really are true. There are certain things to the game. There is more than just brawlers and boxers. The problem with that is you don't know how to articulate what you want to look at. And so you just end up sounding as ignorant as you're trying to describe us, and it's actually backfiring, making you look worse than the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, let's just compare this. Shakur Stevenson versus Nakatila and De Los Santos. That was back foot bitching it. When he fought Hartoononian, that wasn't back foot bitching it. So he knows what he can and can't do. You can tell a difference. One is you're standing in front of a guy still using defense. The other one is leaping 2 feet away or 2 feet back as soon as the guy flinches at you as if he's about to throw a punch. There is a difference. You can tell that from the same fighter who back foot bitches it and then when he doesn't back foot bitch it. And he knows when he's back foot bitching it and when he's not. The Los Santos fight, nobody defended that. Well, no, nobody. A small minority of people that I think were just trolling. So what
I know
I'm saying,
one guy, but that's the same guy that thought that Adrian Broner beat Manny Pacquiao. So I mean,
wow, I mean, yeah, there
take
you
that
go.
with a grain of salt. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt.
So the hyperbole here is clear. And then he actually ended up tweeting again. He goes, worst part about this is y'all want N-words to die in the ring while y'all watch the death on a fire stick for free. I hate y'all. Y'all ruining the sport I love. First of all, the sport that he loves, it sounds like he just started watching it 5 years ago or, so, or at the most. Because nobody in boxing who's been watching it for a long time and who's actually been watching it for longer than us, probably been watching it maybe some people since the 50s or 60s when fights were even more brutal, would say what this dude is saying. And but again, the hyperbole. Y'all want N-words. By the way, the N-word, is that really necessary? Sounds a little bit racist to me. And he goes, you all want them to die in the ring. Whoever said so, because the Turkey Al-Sheikh is saying we don't want to see back foot bitches anymore. And we want people to respect the rules. All of a sudden, that means you want to see them die? Does this guy really think that if a fighter stops running, he's going to die?
My guess is he's old enough to remember the Floyd Mayweather rant when he was bragging, not bragging, but ranting about the fact that he didn't care about the fans, he only cared about his health. Which, in translation for all of those that don't realize, that's Manny, not Manny, that's Floyd actually admitting he was scared to fight Manny at that time. But back to the point, he was sitting there talking, just kept saying, my health, my health, my health. And when you follow a person to the point to where because he's the fighter, you think everything he thinks is gospel, then the talking point in the narrative becomes, well, you know, if you just want me to stand there, get my head beat in and get me and kill myself, well, it doesn't matter how many punches you take. Some people think it only takes one punch. I'm sorry, it's like saying you hit your head one time and you get brain damage. It doesn't work that way. It's the accumulated amount of damage that happens. And if you're smart and know how to defend yourself, it doesn't really happen. It may have longer effects down long term towards your 60s and everything else if you aren't very proficient at all the nuances of the sport. But if you don't have those, yes, you're going to pay that price. If you're not a great football player, you're going to get concussions. If you're, if you don't know how to avoid the hits while still using skills, you're going to get injured. It's in every sport that happens. There's the basketball player that only knows how to lower his shoulder and run into everybody. Well, who's the one that ends up getting retiring first? Him. Why? Because he's put his body through so much. So if you don't know how to use skills to the top level, that's going to happen. But making a smaller ring and keeping people from lateral movement to avoid combat doesn't mean that that's what we're asking for.
Yeah, the rules are quite clear. You don't get to run and avoid combat. That's in the rules. You don't get to clinch either every 10 seconds. Holding is illegal. People like to make the difference. Well, there's a distinction between clinching and holding. No, it's the same shit. You're just using different synonyms. Like people in the media nowadays, when they go, well, there's a difference between sex and gender. No, there isn't. So it's the same thing here. And look, those are the rules. So now that it seems to be like the landscape is going back to what it was before all this rule breaking was allowed. If people still want to run and no one's going to do anything about it, the consumer is starting to make a point and saying, look, we're not going to pay to watch these people fight. And Turkey Al-Sheikh is waking up to that fact that, hey, nobody wants to watch these runners. The era when these promoters thought that they were going to get the next Mayweather and grab a boring boxer and somehow turn him into a star. Mayweather was an aberration. He was an anomaly. You can't be boring and make it as a star. It just doesn't work anymore. So they're starting to wake up to the reality. And so these runners, if they want to cry about my health and, I don't want to die, and okay, fight the way you want to fight, but no one's going to watch you then. And then you can't complain about how come people don't want to pay to watch me fight, because you just said you're going to do whatever you want. You brag about it. Well, now now people don't dislike you and they don't want to watch you fight because now they dislike your boxing style and they dislike your character and personality. We're not obligated to pay to watch you fight just because you win a championship or you might be pound for pound. This is a business. It's show business. And these people have to wake up to that reality. By the way, I'm opening up the phone lines. I'm opening up the phone lines in case anybody wants to call in. The phone numbers are right there, bottom of your left-hand, right-hand corner of your screen. Excuse me, left-hand corner of your screen, and at the top as well. But yeah, go ahead, guys. What were you going to say?
So you go first.
I was going to say, they call this a spectator sport. If no one's watching, it doesn't matter how fucking good you are or if you're undefeated. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to please the fans. That's the whole thing about it. That's what spectator sport means.
Absolutely.
That's all 100%. I'm going to say about that.
Little nugget. It comes from the Latin roots of spectare, which means to see. So yes, it's about watching. And we're the crazy voyeurs that do want to see these things. Now, some of us don't mind watching the Ivan Robinsons. Well, the thing about Ivan Robinson was he had that Philadelphia mentality. If you hit me, and I'm going to fight back. But he did like to move, and he did like to use a jab. He did like to throw combinations. There's still beauty in brawling. You just have to know how to use it. And the problem with Shakur and Haney is they don't. They literally think, because of Mayweather's mentality of, I'm worried about my health, I'm worried about my long-term. Okay, that's great. Mayweather did know how to do it. I got to give him the credit where credit's due. He did know how to do it while sitting in the pocket sometimes and blocking with his arms and shoulders and waiting his turn for counters to where he didn't take a punch in return like what happened to his uncle. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why Floyd didn't lose is he would time the right time when he knew he couldn't get hit back with something too dangerous. Whereas Roger, that's why he lost Rocky Lockridge. He tried to time a shot, or Lockridge actually timed him instead, and he got caught with an overhand right that he didn't see coming, and he got knocked out. Floyd, because of that, learned from that and never put himself in that predicament. When Floyd was, quote-unquote, entertaining later in his career, it's because he fought an overly aggressive fighter like a Maidana, like a Cotto. They brought the fight to him, and then the fight was still relatively entertaining, even though he still did his style. But when you have two fighters that don't want to take a risk, and we have to blame the other side to this. When they don't want to take the risks and sell out, when a guy's running too much and they're just like, oh, well, I can't catch the guy, so I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to go 12 rounds. There is two sides to this coin. The other side, if I can't beat him off of average, normal, everything else, I need to become overly aggressive, like what Maidana did against Floyd. I can't beat him off of just regular stuff, so I'm going to get in close, and when Floyd clinches me, I'm going to have to rough him up. Now, did he rough him up with anything too egregious? In my opinion, no, but some people say yes. But, I mean, I saw him hitting with his free hand. I saw him hitting on the belt line, which the referee clearly said was not a low blow. So they were just within the rules, but they were right on that border. But he used that that became a skill set for him. And
well, the other thing,
I'll wrap up real quick. I'm not encouraging headbutts and stepping on toes and everything else is a normal practice like a Silvio Pedrosa did. But if a guy's purposely avoiding combat to take the game away from you, you have to try and level the playing field if the referee won't do anything about it. Thank you, sir.
No, I mean, it's also a great point. And I just want to clarify, too, Mayweather could fight on the inside. And I think one of the reasons why we got to, people like to crap on him, but one of the reasons why he also started fighting more in the ass style later on in his career was because he had hand problems going back all the way to even pre-2001 when he busted him up against Carlos Hernandez. So sometimes, yes, these guys got fucked up hands, and you got to take that into consideration. By the way, fellas, the phone lines are open. Make sure to call in. Let's go to the phone lines right now. Let's go to 805. 805, you're on the air. 805, what's on your mind? Oh, I think that's Chibi calling in. No, I'm kidding. That's Amok. Amok, are you there, man? What's up, man? Oh, he dropped out. The fuck? That was weird. All right, let's go to another phone call here. That was weird, man. Let's go to 323. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, DDA?
What's up, 323?
Hey, what's up, man? Well, I just wanted to make a comment, like, when it comes to, like, you having, like, a Tyson as, like, the favorite, boxer for a lot of the, I'll just say, colored people. Like, everyone's behind that. They want that brawler. They want that fighter. I got big balls. I'm knocking heads off. Mm-hmm. But they don't have that right now, so they have everything else, right? So now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we support this fucking liberal backfoot bitch and shit. It's just a matter of perspective, If you ask any real, true black friend, and I have like 3 of them, that 2 of which have been to my house, they'll tell you they prefer the guy that can fight,
They'll tell you what?
That they prefer the guy that fights, that comes forward, that brawls. They prefer that.
Yeah, well, those guys generally make the money. I mean, you look at most of the guys pound for pound in the past. Sugar Ray Leonard, he could box, but he could make it entertaining because he could punch as well. Mike Tyson, obviously puncher. De La Hoya, heck of a left hook. Pacquiao, again, the only aberration or anomaly was Floyd Mayweather, who wasn't that entertaining for the most part, but he could be when he wanted to, which is what kept people watching. So you're right. There's no doubt about it. A entertaining style is a guy who looks and goes for the action and the KO. And look at Golovkin. He was an action fighter, but he had good defense too because he had that amateur pedigree. So you can have the best of both worlds. This whole thing of people defending runners is just, I don't know, it's a weird thing. What do you think? Why do you think people just defend runners? I'm not talking about defensive fighters. I'm talking about runners and clinchers, people who do anything and everything to avoid combat as much as possible, even to the point where they're breaking the rules. What do you think? Why do you think people support that? Or some people support that?
I think it's racially based. I mean, honestly, like if you're a colored person and you're rooting based on your race, you're rooting for the black guy, and the black guy just seems to be a runner, like he's backfoot bitching, and he's fighting a Mexican or a white guy or whatever. Like you're gonna conform your thought process and argument to say like, hey, this is okay. This is just another way of doing it. Mm-hmm. Because if you ask, like when you talk about boxers and you like Triple G and like even Julio Cesar Chavez, like these are guys that like the black community, like they'll like put them up on a pedestal, like, and they give them a whole lot of credit, especially the OGs. They're like, oh, that Chavez guy, man, that guy could fight, because they value that shit, like coming forward and having a sense of defense and being able to brawl it out. That's what they like. Like everyone likes that shit. Mm-hmm. They just adjust their argument to whatever is current. Like right now, if they had someone right now that was like a Pacquiao, I don't want to bring up that Gervonta dude because I haven't been watching what's going on, but when they had that guy coming out, they're like, oh, that guy's knocking heads off and stuff. Like, everyone was on that Gervonta boat, but then, he sort of retired or hasn't been fighting anyone of caliber. So now they're, like, focusing on, like, oh, well, who's left and how do they fight? I just think they just conform their argument to fit the narrative of, like, why, who their guy is, versus a lot of other people like me. I don't care what the guy is. I mean, if the guy can fight, I give him credit.
You know what? That's a great point. Look at Keyshawn Davis. He stops Lemos when Hitchins couldn't, and then he stops Beranchyk. And look at the ovation he received on ESPN, online, social media. People were making out to be like this guy was the next best thing because they were so shocked that an American fighter was knocking people out. They just couldn't believe it. So you're right. Jaron Ennis, Keyshawn Davis, even though Keyshawn Davis sort of now is persona non grata because of what his little shenanigans. But, I mean, I'm talking about before that, people were back on the train and saying, hey, man, punchers, entertaining fighters who actually have skill. But some people are still angry about the fact that Turki Al-Sheikh has the goal and the temerity to enforce the rules. Who would have thought it? By the way, caller...
All right, man. Well, anyway, shout out to Never Sobers. It was nice talking to you, BA.
Yeah, you sound familiar, I was going to say. What do we call
you? Salute Don Emiliano de la Vega.
What?
I'm a born-again Christian. I used to go by the name of Benzo, but now I'm Don Emiliano de la Vega.
Oh, this is bad. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a while.
Also known as Zorro.
Nobody calls you Zorro.
Yeah, I got into the Zorro. I got into the YouTube.
He's Christian now.
You
got into the what, Benzo? What?
The YouTube dart community. You throw the darts at the board and shit.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but anyway, listen, man, it's good to see you, good to hear from you, and let me tell you that the things I've been hitting up in the YTBC these last 2 weeks, I'm talking some crazy shit. Go check it out. Go check out the last match at streams and all that, because people have been going nuts with recent developments. So I think you'd fit.
How about I just drop? Oh, I can't drop any links in the chat, VDA.
Oh, you can't? Oh, fuck. All right.
Yeah, I gotta be a mod, I think.
I was gonna ask Sobers if he can send me the Discord link, because I just like re-uploaded Discord and all that shit to my phone. But I don't know if you guys have it on your YouTube thing.
Let me
Oh well, give it to me.
Let me finish paying you for the mod status later on, BDA. Just give me the mod right now.
Yeah. All right, give me the link and I'll post it on the chat. How about that?
All right,
man. Take it
easy.
All right,
Benzo. Take it easy, man. Christ is king. All right. I don't even know if he's really a born-again Christian, but if he is, good for him. Let's go to the phone lines. We got a couple more phone calls here. Let's go. Don't forget to call in, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to 301. 301, you're on the air. 301, what's on your mind?
BDA Boxing. Good morning, fellas.
What's up, man?
I haven't had a chance to look at all these details here, but has Turkey outlined the punishments that these faint of heart fighters will receive? You know, is it just a customary 50 lashes? Is it like a few fingers cut off, or are there more esoteric punishments? You know, backstage. We heard his practices. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, from what I understand is some people might end up getting buried up to their heads with sand, and then hijinks will ensue from there. That's what I've heard. I don't think the Sheik is ready to take it there quite yet, but it could be a good deterrent against these backfoot bitches. That's for sure.
Yeah, indeed. I think some of the lesser fighters might be shipped off to those compounds in Dubai, to work on the building projects and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They're sort of indentured servitude.
You talking about slavery?
I think they might just. Hold on. I don't know about that. I mean, let's not throw accusations here.
You're right. Let's not.
Arabs. I mean, they're progressive people. They're progressing. Slavery. I mean, I think they might just confuse them with the typical crop of people that they bring in over there. So it's just an honest mistake, maybe. But I think it could be good for the sport. Clean it up. But you said that American boxing is not in a great place with Keyshawn Davis and his antics. But what about a caramel motion? Aren't you excited about him? 5'1", 190 pounds. I think he has a bright future at the light heavyweight division.
Listen, all kidding aside, Caramel Motion is too green right now to really ascertain what type of fighter he could be. A lot of people were high on Abdullah Mason for him saving the show last Saturday, and that he's not a nut job like Keyshawn Davis is. He hasn't been in the home as far as we know, and he's actually an entertaining fighter. He's not a backfoot bitch with the ass style. So there is hope yet for some of these Americans in those lower weight divisions, for sure.
True.
For sure.
I was gonna mention him, but isn't he like 154? Or am I getting that confused?
No, Abdullah Mason is at lightweight, I believe.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess I'm thinking of somebody else.
So a lot of things down the line for him. There's a lot of things down the line for him.
You got dropped, right? I mean, look, I think these guys, they gotta get back to their team. You gotta assess the situation. You want to make any rush decisions. You have to look at the lay of the land. Assess things in context of the fiscal year. And
That's
so
right.
it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that y'all don't see. And I mean, I think y'all gonna appreciate these fighters when they're gone. But right now, y'all just don't understand because y'all don't know boxing really. You only know boxing.
That's right.
The way we do. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't never boxed before.
There's a lot of fighters. A hell of a fighters out there. A hell of a fighters.
Okay, all right.
Great fighters out there.
All right, you're just laying it on. You're just laying on the platitude thing now. But listen,
how many times you been in the ring, man?
I haven't done it in a while. I haven't provoked it in a while.
No, I get you. I got you.
I've pent up. I've been I've been retaining, and I think
okay. What the fuck?
Soon time to.
You're talking about
to release.
You can tell. Yeah, you can tell. Irish Andrew Ward's been on the nofap for a while now. Well, listen, go out there, rock out with your cock out. It's come on. It's Friday. Rock out with your cock out. Let it out, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right, man.
Yes, I will be Alamo mode all day.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Take it easy.
Have a nice day, BDA.
You too, man. He's under siege, under sexual siege. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. What are people saying in the chat real quick? Grievous says, fighters don't want to engage. Referee should disqualify them. Simple. Jamal Makan says, Turkey is in a commission, so he can't make any rules. He can have the fighters in his new league fight like that. Well, that's the thing. That's a misconception. People keep saying that, he's trying to change the rules. The rules are quite clear. If you're running around the ring for 30 seconds at a clip without throwing shots, that's avoiding combat, and that is against the rules. Just like clinching is against the rules. It's right there in the rule books. People just haven't bothered to look at them. So it's quite clear. He's not trying to change the rules. He's just trying to implement them. And for some reason, people are getting angry at that. The guy's making the fights that we want to see. He's implementing the rules so that the fights are more aesthetically pleasing instead of this clinch fest and running fest that we've been seeing. And for some reason, people are getting angry over it. It's insane. It's completely illogical. I don't
know if you noticed in the world that and worldwide, everyone seems to think people are making up their own rules when all they do is enforcing the ones that already exist.
Mm-hmm. Delboy in the chat says, shout out to Delboy, Blue Collar Sports TV says, boxing fighters are not used to rules being enforced. Exactly. It's been a long time since for 30 plus something years, people have been ignoring the rules. So now people that started watching boxing 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they can't comprehend this. They're like, well, I thought the clinching and running was legal. No, it's not. Look it up in the rule books. It's insane. Let's go to another phone call here, fellas. Let's go to 805. 805, you're on the air. 805, what's on your mind?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Oh, wait a minute. Now we got the more reserved courtroom. Amak, what's up, Amak? I don't think this is Amak. Who is this?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to bring up. This is AMAC.
AMAC, all right. What's up, AMAC?
I was going to say, it sounded like a eHarmony infomercial when he was talking to sobers. Yo, I like talking to sobers, wink, wink.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait,
right.
what?
He does have
I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're kidding. He's a born-again Christian.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Be nice.
Be nice. I'm just finally happy.
Fuck up in here.
What's that, sorry?
Nice. I'm just finally happy that, they're reducing the stallers and clinchers, and hopefully these referees start DQing or handing out yellow and red cards, or, I also wanted to talk about the size of the ring. I don't know, maybe this question might be for Boxing Chief, but when they were becoming more runners and stallers, the ring kept getting bigger. Am I tripping, or?
Sorry, I don't think. Yeah.
The guys that dictated the money, like when Ray Leonard usually wanted bigger rings versus guys like Marvin Hagler, they didn't get his way. It's part of negotiations to begin with between the fighters. Now, regulation wise, I don't know when that started, but when two guys are at the top of the game, like Leonard and Hagler, they kind of get to dictate what they want for the sport, and then the sanctioning bodies determine whether it's allowable or not. And if the money's right, everything's allowable. But as far as the actual regulations of what's supposed to be enforced, that's a different story.
I just think that a 16 by 16, even an 18 by 18, is a lot of room. I don't think these fans ever been inside a ring.
Uh-huh. So you want it smaller then?
If you sit down and think about it, 16 by 16, even an 18 by 18, that's still a lot of room.
That's true. By the way, I've heard that before from women too. Oh, it's too big. I want it smaller. Sorry, baby. This is what I got. What do you want from me? But you're right, though. It's a difficult situation here with the 16 by 16. That could actually maybe that's a sweet spot right there. I don't know. You might have a point there, Amok. You might have a point.
Well, maybe they like the 22 or 24 ring because they want to camp there or some shit. I don't know. They're fucking weird.
Yeah, they want to trek around the ring. They enjoy that. They enjoy the scenery. I don't know, man. But listen, we'll see how it looks, man. We'll see what the Turkey Al Sheikh does. He's certainly helping boxing by doing this. He's on the right trajectory, so we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to say, AMAC, before we move on?
Yeah, we got to have all these boring-ass fighters fight each other because there's just way too many in the sport right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We gotta thin the herd. You're absolutely right. All right, AMAC, we got to move on here, but thank you for calling in, and we'll catch you on the next one, man.
All right, see you
Take
guys.
it easy, man. Have a good morning. I usually say...
All right, bro.
Yeah. I thought I heard something there. By the way, I'm looking
just
at...
saying, salute to Amak.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Salute to AMAC. Bray says the ring for Stevenson fight will be 18 by 18. It was reported yesterday. Yeah, Sobers broke the news. He broke the story, actually, thanks to his contacts on Discord.
3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. He knew it, but he was sitting on it. He promised them that he was going to sit on the breaking news. Pancho Villa says the smaller the ring, the better. If I had my way, they'd be fighting in phone booths. Absolutely. Big Papa says, y'all called Floyd a runner. Your opinion doesn't hold weight. Well, he did run in certain instances, so yeah, that if the shoe fits.
He said that?
I don't even know what he's talking about. I mean, by the time we went on the air here, this channel, Floyd was already retired, and thank God he was retired. Ceylon says Turkey is not trying to implement any rules.
Sorry, BDA.
Yeah, Turkey is not. Ceylon says Turkey is not trying to implement any rules. He can't. He's trying to bankroll better fighters. Turkey can't implement or enforce rules. He can pay for fighters willing to fight. Well, he can implement or enforce the rules by saying, "Hey, guys." He can encourage that, and then he can also say, if you don't abide by the rules, that's unsportsmanlike, and we're not gonna pay to watch you fight. I'm not gonna pay to have you in my events. That's a way of encouraging guys and enforcing the rules. So he definitely can do that.
Let's go to talk about the rules. Are we going back to Marcos to Queensberry? Or are we going off the fact that there is no international standard stance on 100% on all the rules of boxing? They do vary from place to place. He's establishing sanctioning fights in his country where he kind of oversees the whole things, so he can implement whatever he darn well pleases, especially since he's paying for it. So he rewriting what this, that, or the other is kind of a fallacy because it's all about who sanctions it in his country. And his country gets to set their sanctioning rules. And if the rest of the world doesn't want to go by it, the only thing that, real quick, the only way that we would go against this BDA is if the sanctioning body of the belt conflicts with what he wants. And even then, if they're paying enough money, we know that Suleiman's going to say, oh, wait, an extra $1 million? Yeah, we can overlook that rule.
I mean, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole thing of him implementing rules. He shouldn't be trying to implement the rules. They're already the rules. Why are we even having this conversation? We shouldn't even be talking about a guy trying to implement the rules. The rules are the rules. No running, no clinching. Point, period, blank. He can't implement the rules. It's not his job. You're right. It's the referee's job. It's the commission's job. And they haven't been doing it for the past 20-something years. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to... Oh, no, hold on a second. Okay. The phone lines are open, fellas. The phone numbers are right there in the top of the screen and on the left-hand corner. So make sure to call in. Give us your thoughts on anything and everything in boxing. I wanted to get back real quick to this whole running thing. It is interesting how a lot of these people on Twitter are losing their minds, claiming that Turkey LLC wants to murder people because he says he has the goal and the temerity to say, hey, maybe we should enforce the rules and no longer have runners and clinchers destroying the sport. But it's interesting because we just saw in the beginning of this podcast, we saw Hitchins crying up a storm, talking a lot of smack about how he's going to do this and do that to Kambosos. And like Sober said, we've seen this story before. We've been on this rodeo before. The guy talks a lot, and then what does he do? He goes in the ring, clinches, pot shots, runs around the ring for 30 seconds at a clip, shaking his ass, the ass style. And then when the final bell rings, he jumps on the turnbuckle and starts beating his chest like, yeah, I whooped that ass. The only thing you whooped was people into sleep. And so what I'm saying is you see a lot of those supporters, the people who support these fighters who, in my experience, when these guys don't pay to watch these fights, they don't pay for the zone, they don't pay for pay-per-views, don't pay for ESPN. And they're also the same people that are defending these guys with hyperbole, saying, oh my God, the Turkey Al-Sheikh wants these guys to stop running. He wants to watch them die. These are the same type of people that seem to enjoy talking about these guys avoiding that dude, the theatrics, the drama. These guys avoiding this dude. This guy's avoiding that dude. Oh, this guy called him out and the other guy didn't fight him. Therefore, that's a duck. It's what I call pugilistic erotica. These guys love to talk about, oh, my fighter said this. He called this guy out. He said he was going to whoop him. Oh, Hitchins in the press conference is talking loud and proud about how he's going to whoop ass and how this is his game. He owns it, blah, blah, blah. It seems like they get dopamine hits every time their fighter says something. That's why I call it pugilistic erotica, because they get off on it. But then once the fights actually occur, they don't mind a guy back foot bitching it in the ass style. They don't mind a guy clinching, running around the ring, pot shotting, dipping below the waist. It's weird. Like I said, was that?
It's because they're not watching it. They're not watching it. They're not tuning in. They're not paying for it. It's like with me towards LeBron James, and I don't really follow basketball or like LeBron James, but he's who I know. So I don't know anybody else in basketball because I do not watch NBA at all. It's nothing personal. It doesn't entertain me. I've never liked it. I've never gotten into basketball. But I know who he is. So when they follow near a sport like boxing and combat sports, they'll sit there and they'll throw his name around like Hitchins right now, because I guess he's the up-and-coming star they're trying to force down our throats. And so they're all on board with everything, but they're not watching his fights. They just know his name. And he keeps winning. Oh, and then they'll see the highlights at the end of when they covered on whatever platform they watch it on, because I don't think ESPN's even covering him right now. And like you said, he beats on his chest. You and I are wondering where that intensity was for 12 freaking rounds. He saved it all to beat his chest at the end of the fight. Congratulations. And all they see is him beating on his chest. The fact that he won the fight, he's still undefeated. Oh, look, he must be great. Because they're not watching.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right there. I think Thunderdome's the guy who coined it very well. He says a lot of these guys are just playing NFL 2K, and then they grab their phone every 10 minutes or 5 minutes to look at the Twitter feeds, and they'll watch highlights there. And that's how they get their boxing information. They don't actually watch these fights, and they don't pay to watch these fights. How can you pay for these fights and be content with a guy running around the ring, nonstop, clinching nonstop? I mean, it's insane. I don't understand. And I mean, lest anybody think that we're just making this up. This is what the IBA has to say about that. Remember that running and holding is a tactic of self-defense, but not boxing defense. Again, this is another section of the IBA rulebook. Slight holding is a minor foul. Common major foul, holding. And take a look at the one there on the lower right-hand corner. Passive defense or defense. Passive defense. That means avoiding the action. So it's quite clear right there. And then you got the WBA and the WBO talking about the clinching as well. The Association of Boxing Commissions, the rules are quite clear. These are facts. They're not opinion. They're not about, they're biased against this type of fighters. It's a fact. The rule books say it. But it's just as these referees and these commissions don't apply the rules. Therein lies the disconnect.
Well, historically, the people that will defend Floyd for his defensive boxing IQ, they think it's an entirely boxing IQ. Well, they'll sit there and talk about how great that sweet science was and everything else, but then they'll just blast Klitschko for clinching for the first 6 rounds and getting a knockout in the 11th, whereas Floyd's doing it for 12 straight rounds. I mean, they do not follow the sport. They do not watch it. They don't have an opinion. They're rallying around people outside of what they do in the ring. And like you said, they're watching highlights. There was a video one time that I don't have the access to, so I'd post it if I could. But it goes over Muhammad Ali's career and how the fights ended and how the highlights showed. And everyone's looking at, the Sonny Liston fight. Yeah, that punch was real. But then they showed the fact that Liston got back up. He was throwing punches back. They were on their feet. He was covering up. He was defending himself. And then they stopped the fight. And I didn't know it happened like that because you only know the highlights. You didn't watch the fight. Same thing with the Cleveland Williams fight, that right-hand double left hook that he threw. Beautiful combination. He flattened him, stood over him, but that wasn't the end of the fight. Everyone else thinks it is because they saw the highlight. They thought that was the end. Then they played what really happened. Like, I didn't remember it happening that way. Because I'll take I didn't remember. When you get older, you don't remember things quite the same. You only remember what you see most often. But the people that never watched it to begin with, like the ones saying, I didn't know it happened that way. They don't watch the sport. They're watching the highlights. They're watching the things that someone has edited that's aesthetically pleasing for someone to watch temporarily, and then they think they know boxing because they've seen 30 seconds of a 12-round fight.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And by the way, I think this is Amok. I think he changed his name. He says passive defense is a modern term for stalling. That's a great way of putting it. That's why it's against the rules, because you're stalling, landing one punch, and then stalling, nullifying the other guy. So that's one when people say, well, the other guy should learn how to cut the ring off. When you're cutting the ring off and the guy's moving nonstop or clinching once you finally have him on a corner, that's stalling, that's cheating. That's why it's against the rules. He's absolutely right. Grim Reaper says the runners feel personally attacked and are in a panic, freaking out at the thought of actually having to fight. That's a good point. Yeah, that's the way people have been framing it, that a lot of these guys are panicking. And again, the fans, people who are fans of this, there's got to be something wrong with them. I can't imagine anybody rooting for this type of stuff and being actually shocked that anybody would want to enforce the rules and put a stop to this chicanery. Bray says these new age fans are so sensitive for their fighters. Absolutely. Big Papa says this is a victim support group. All they are doing is crying. See, again, the hyperbole from some of these people, crying. Trying to enforce the rules and better the sport, that's crying. Meanwhile, this guy is here trolling, probably not even paying for the fight. So what's he doing for boxing? Well, what service is he bringing? I think Big Papa should pop the dick out of his ass and actually try to get on board with us and enforce the rules. You want to make boxing better?
Why don't
Start
you pop
enforcing
that
the rules.
big dick out of your ass?
Yeah, pop that schlong at your dog, man. What's the matter with you? Get with the program, kid. Grievous says Eddie Hearn doesn't even show the full fight. Well, I mean, sometimes they'll do it, like months, way after the fight. They don't show him right afterwards. I think that's also has to do with the network, too. I don't know what type of deal they negotiate with the networks, but sometimes the fights are owned by the promotional company or sometimes by the network or sometimes they're shared. But I don't understand. I don't understand how that works sometimes.
They would have to be shared because when you watch old fights that have like the King in the corner for Don King's name, but you know good and well it was shown on either ABC or HBO, you'll have a different commentary. So whether they get someone to voice over the commentary or Don King's actually got someone doing it on the side away from the regular network, there's always more than one view of the fight. It's the same camera angles and everything else, but it's more than one commentary section. So who produces it? So if you go on YouTube, and I'll wrap up real quick, you'll see the ones for Top Rank. Well, you know good and well it was an HBO fight, but you're not listening to Max Kellerman and Jim Lampley calling the fight. You listen to somebody else. It's because Bob Arum's put his own team together to either voice over or they did it on the side, and he has the right to promote it and sell it on his network with his commentary, not HBO's.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's got to be a dual thing because otherwise Bob Arum won't be able to get away with that.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Don King and Bob Arum, you're right. Yeah, and De La Hoya too. He'll show fights from HBO without the commentary, so it's got to be a shared type of thing there where they can show the fights, but not from the actual HBO, the full HBO telecast with the commentaries and so on. By the way, fellas, don't forget to hit the like. We're gonna just a couple of real quick news here, real quick, because we do have to go. According to some reports, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are set for a rematch. Getting closer in the negotiations, set to take place this year, by the way. They're negotiating, apparently, or they're at least talking about it. Nothing is signed at this stage. Details need to be formalized, but a fight between the pair is set to take place later this year. I got to tell you, there was way too much money from that fight not to have a rematch. The only question is, what's the weight going to be at? Because Chris Eubank Jr. damn near killed himself to make the weight, so maybe now as the winner, he's going to enforce some sort of a more generous weight in which the fight is going to take place in. So that should be good. Also, well, we ran out of time here for some of these news here, but Juan Francisco Estrada returns this Saturday, I believe, fighting at bantamweight now. He's 35 years old, which is generally not a good age for some of these smaller fighters. So we'll see how he looks on Saturday. I wonder if it's going to be televised. It doesn't say here where they're going to be showing the fight. Andy Cruz is calling Keyshawn Davis his son, and he says that he's disappointed in his son by the way he acted, that he can't wait to meet him up in the ring to correct him. He's been quite rambunctious lately, and so he wants to correct him. Yeah, and that's about it. Oh, yeah, one last thing. If you care about this type of things, pound for pound, Ring TV has updated their pound for pound list. Junto Nakatani scored a fantastic stoppage. Well, fantastic. I mean, it was a dominating stoppage in a unification fight, if you care about such things. And by virtue of that, he has usurped Bam Rodriguez in the pound-for-pound list. Check this out. They just made some changes. Hold on a second. Where is it? Trying to post it here on the screen. Here we go. The pound-for-pound list, according to Ring TV, which I often agree with, or I like their pound-for-pound list. They got Usyk number 1 now, Inoue number 2, Crawford number 3, Dimitri Bivol number 4, Beterbiev number 5, Junto Nakatani number 6, Jesse Bam Rodriguez number 7, which I believe Jesse Bam Rodriguez was ahead of Nakatani before this change. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this, or do you think Bam Rodriguez is still ahead of Nakatani pound for pound?
I would still have Bam ahead of him right now. He has more bigger names on his resume, but Nakatani is on a hot streak, but we got to see him fight somebody that's seen as the same caliber as him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fair statement, and I agree with a lot of that, but the pound for pound list, which is an overlooked factor that I learned later in life, is it's also what have you done for me lately? So what I'm not tearing down Bam. What I'm saying is Nakatani just had a unification fight and a dominating win on top of that in his division. Like I said, he's on a hot streak. So that could be it's only one place swap. If Bam was at number 4 and Nakatani was at number 7 and they swapped off of one win like that, that might be a little bit drastic. But a one spot swap based off of a most recent performance. Let's face it, all Bam's got to do is come back against another guy that needs to go out to pasture, and he forces them with his fists to hang up the gloves, and they can swap back again.
Yeah, I mean, Bam Rodriguez, he's got a good resume. He's got the more recognizable names. But I think Ring TV, the reason why they moved Nakatani up is by virtue of the fact that it was a unification fight. And apparently, Ring TV still puts a lot of stock into that type of thing, thus explaining the move up. By the way, one last thing I forgot to say about the backfoot bitches and the ass style fighters. By the way, for people that don't know, ass style refers to American slick style, which was perfected by a lot of these backfoot bitches in recent years. In soccer, or what the rest of the world calls it football, only Yanks call it, like Boxing Chief call it soccer. But in football, it started in 2000. In football, it started in 2002. They started putting penalties on people who dived, because that's the technique they use in soccer. They're running all. They pretend that they got tackled, and they try to get a penalty inside the penalty box. And the people started realizing that they were doing that. So they say, you know what, we got to curtail this. How would you do it? Oh well, we got to start, yellow carding these guys. And there was a big deal made about it. Sometimes the refs got it wrong. Sometimes they got it right. Oftentimes they got it right. And it's the same thing here. It's going to be difficult to implement or discern what is excessive movement and the clinching too. But it's got to start being implemented at some point. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll try to perfect those implementations as we get there. But we're never going to get anywhere if we just ignore the issue. That's one of the things right there. So it just reminded me of that example. I wanted to bring it up earlier. By the way, shout out to Bray, who said that... No, who said it? Hold on. Somebody said something about Estrada. How come I can't see the comment? It was here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Junior Ryu, sorry. It was Junior Ryu Junior 33 said... He says, Estrada is going to be fighting in an obscure location, like he's a cockfighter. You know what? Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? He's fighting in like a basement or something. Not even a ring. It's just a circle. You know where he should be fighting? I think you guys know where I'm going with this. He should be fighting at
the Gold Coast Convention Centre.
It's a pretty good place, let me tell you. Pretty good place. So we'll see what happens, man. You guys want to say anything else before we move on? Anything we missed? Anything we should remind people of?
No, I just want to thank you for letting me jump on at the last minute. Usually in the morning I'm at work. Today I'm off, so appreciate it.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. Good on Chief for jumping in. Thank you for jumping in. Same things with Sobers. Shout out to you, man. Really appreciate you jumping in. Shout out to everybody who called in, everybody who was in the chat, everybody who commented. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Don't forget to hit that like on the way out and subscribe if you've yet to do so already. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat who joined us. JJ says, BDA, what's your opinion of the Aussie accent? I think it's a hostile accent. It's an accent that's indicative of people who are taking over a country. That's what makes it so scary. It's inherent with white supremacy and colonialism. And we got to decolonize that right off the bat. Now, but shout out to Combat's Four-Span, JJ, Grievous, Pancho Villa, Pound for Pound King, Bray, Grim Reaper, Ernesto. He says, Cambosos will defeat the melanated opponent, in my opinion. Okay, whatever. Pound for Pound King. Who else was here? Against the Ropes, the Boxing Kangaroo, Ceylon, Knockout Ned, David Marino, the Boxing Kangaroo, yes, of course. The Tavern, shout out to the Mad Chatter. Like I said, everybody who called in, everybody who joined us, shout out to you fellas. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out. We might be going live again in the evening because, again, we got to continue this conversation. It's red hot. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And don't forget to check out our latest video on Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. That's a fight. That's a forgotten classic. Old fighter against old lion against young lion. Type of a comeback fight, historic win. Yeah.
Amazing fight.
You sound like...
Real quick, you realize that if Manny Pacquiao actually beats Barrios, he'll be the first person to be inducted in the Hall of Fame and then go on to win a world title?
Yeah, that's weird, man. How the fuck is he still... I thought it was only for retired fighters, the Hall. Did they change that shit?
He hasn't had a fight yet. He hasn't had a fight yet. So until he comes out of retirement, anything can happen between now and then.
But
So
wait,
the
wait, wait,
induction
wait.
happened.
So he actually retired at some point. Maybe I forgot that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He made a huge announcement that 3 years ago that he was retiring, and the fight, and this happened with Sugar Ray Leonard, even though Leonard wasn't a title fight with Camacho. It was 5 years back then. He announced the Camacho fight after the vote had already happened and had been voted to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So they didn't rescind the vote because the fight was taking place after the vote. Now, in Manny's case, it's not just taking place after the vote; it's taking place after the induction ceremony. So he's in the Hall of Fame. Case closed. And again, one of the reasons why it was explained to me was, if a person is eligible to be on the ballot at the time they go to vote, and then announce something after the vote has happened, anything can happen between then and from the announcement and the fight. If the fight falls through for finances, someone gets hurt, they change their mind, whatever happens, then they're still not an active fighter. So therefore, the vote remains the same. Manny's fight doesn't take place until the end of next month, and the induction ceremony has already happened. That's how it works. That's how that works anyway. So, but very few people are in a position to be inducted in the Hall of Fame that still have enough to try and put something together. Most people are like 50, 60 years old, and no one's going to give them a license unless they're Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
That's very interesting right there. Very interesting. I didn't know that little factoid there. Shout out to Chief for bringing that up. Well, listen, we'll see what happens, man. Intriguing fight, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens and to see if Pacquiao can do another. Again, just adding more frosting on top of that cake. So shout out to everybody who called in, everybody who joined us via the super chat. The chat. Shout out to everybody who called in. Shout out to Sobers.